Stitching No Fap, congratulations, you are first.
Says it has stopped a potential disaster, a school shooting at a high school and an elementary school. They have arrested a teenager in Maryland who they say had detailed plans to target both his high school and where he went to elementary school. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Peter Thomas, now.
Tonight, the FBI, along with state and local authorities in Maryland, say they thwarted 18-year-old Alex Yee's plans to shoot up his high school and his former elementary school after authorities discovered what they called a manifesto with detailed plans to commit mass murder.
Yee writes about targeting his former elementary school because little kids make easier targets. He strategized on how to access the easiest classrooms in his high school and how he would be able to sneak a gun into the school.
Yee, whose legal name is Andrea but uses male and female pronouns and goes by Alex, was known to authorities as having a history of mental health issues and an obsession with school shootings.
Thanks for the gifted membership, Carrie. Appreciate it.
Issues that led him to be removed from school and placed into virtual learning last year. Last month, Yee allegedly shared the 129-page Google document with someone he knew, calling it a work of fiction. But police say when the person read it, they immediately called the police.
Yee also wrote that he wanted to become a serial killer instead of a mass murderer because serial killers are romanticized a lot more.
Yee was taken to a psychiatric hospital and is now being held without bond, with one count of a threat of mass violence. Police say Yee is obsessed with the Columbine High School massacre. David, tomorrow is the 25th anniversary of Columbine. Authorities clearly taking no chances.
Well, he'll probably get out in 6 months and then kill somebody.
Hard to believe, 25 years. Pierre Thomas tonight.
Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogowski. This investigation started with a tip from a KHEO 11 viewer just like you. The tipster said, hey, you have to check out this small town called Coffee City, Texas. It's hiring a ton of cops, and word has it, a lot of them have troubled pasts. So we pulled on that thread, requested a lot of records, and dug in deep. That took a while, and that journalistic journey led us to discover even more problems at this department. And in the end, our investigation got results. Just 2 weeks after our first story aired, the city council took swift and serious action. It fired the police chief and shut down the entire police force.
What?
New tonight, a tiny Texas town of about 250 people has 50 sworn police officers on the force.
We're talking about Coffee City. That's up in Henderson County, some 3 hours north of Houston. They have one cop for every 5 residents. And what's more, Jeremy Rogowski discovered many of those officers have a history of problems wearing the badge.
On the banks of Lake Palestine, some 3 hours north of Houston, this dot on the map has quite a reputation among those who drive through.
They're everywhere. Literally everywhere.
They run back and forth, back and forth.
A lot of officers policing a very small number of people.
Only 249 people, says the sign on the edge of town. And when you add up all the full-time cops and reserves,
50 officers.
Good Lord, that's crazy.
This is such a small town, why do we need so many? It makes no sense. Why do you need that many officers?
Coffee City hauled in $1 million in court fines last year for more than 5,000 violations, officers wrote, the most in the state for a town its size.
But this isn't a story about a small town writing a bunch of tickets. You see, Coffee City is a magnet for troubled cops.
How do we know? KHEO 11 Investigates obtained personnel records from other police agencies and found more than half of Coffee City officers had been suspended, demoted, terminated, or dishonorably discharged from their previous jobs. A dozen were even criminally charged.
I was astounded to think that they've been hired by another agency.
Greg Freeman is a Sam Houston State criminal justice professor and retired Houston police captain.
I've never seen anything like that in my professional career, and I've seen a lot.
Their prior discipline ranges from excessive force to public drunkenness, untruthfulness, and association with known criminals. Criminal charges include DWI, theft, aggravated assault, family violence and endangering a child.
If you knowingly are hiring an officer that has a very troubled past and history and has no business to be wearing a uniform, and it's a very, very precarious slope that city is engaging in by hiring.
This is the man who hired them. Chief John J. Portillo quadrupled the department's size since he took the job 2 years ago. He says to provide 24/7 coverage for the town.
Why would you hire so many people with all these red flags?
There's more to just what's on paper. And that's where I rely on my captain and my background investigators to go in and dig and say, hey, what's the truth behind this?
The chief says criminal charges were often dismissed, dishonorable discharges overturned. He claims most applicants hired got on the wrong side of agency politics.
If you go back to the totality of a lot of these officers' stuff, I would say 75%, or if not more, they're being retaliated against from their agency.
Retaliate?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take a chance, Chief?
I try to look at the good in everybody, and I believe everybody deserves an opportunity.
You give a lot of opportunities.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
The opportunity to wear a badge allows his officers to work extra jobs, which can mean real money, $50 an hour or more.
I mean, let's not hide it from anybody. They're making probably about $80,000 to $100,000 a year doing that.
And I asked Portillo directly, does he get a cut of his officers' extra job wages? Twice during our interview, the chief said no. The only money he makes from extra jobs is from the ones he works himself. And that takes us from Coffee City to Houston and what's coming up tomorrow night at 10.
Call Garcia right now. Tell his
That's Chief Portillo caught on camera cussing out an elected Harris County constable. Portillo was working security for a Southeast Houston apartment complex nearly 200 miles away from Coffee City. More on that video and what else we learned about Chief Portillo's past as our investigation continues tomorrow at 10. Len and Mia.
Jeremy Rogowski, fascinating report there.
We'll see you tomorrow for more.
Could I draw you if I sent $7? I could do that.
Or thank you.
Coffee City, Texas, a small town of about 250 people and 50 police officers on the force.
Our investigative team dug through records and found half of those officers had been suspended, demoted, or fired from previous jobs, some even criminally charged.
And Jeremy Rogowski discovered the man who hired them can have a short fuse when dealing with others who wear the badge here in Harris County.
Coffee City's police chief routinely works an extra job 200 miles away at this Houston apartment complex. And on this day, watch how John J. Portillo behaves.
I'm about to call Garcia and tell him he's going to be this next election.
It's an expletive-filled rant launched at the elected constable of Harris County Precinct 2, Jerry Garcia.
Call Garcia right now. Tell his
Portillo wanted Precinct 2 to file charges on a man he says assaulted him at the complex. It was just one of many requests the constable says kept coming in from off-duty Coffee City cops.
Which at first was, no big deal. We help anybody and everybody. But then we noticed that it was becoming a pattern.
That pattern, the constable says, was draining resources. So Garcia reached out to the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
And we were advised to tell Chief Portillo that he had to file the charges.
But when deputies did just that, Portillo left a nasty voicemail.
And your captains, lieutenants, or whoever those numbnuts are that you have working for you, tell them your guy's not to help us out.
It saddened me, it upset me to hear that. This isn't something small. This is pretty upsetting.
What upset the constable even more, the response his agency got back after alerting Coffee City's mayor. I don't see.
The only path to any tiller is we live in a society.
Well, I'm gonna raise a fuss, I'm gonna raise a holler about the world.
That is fucking weird. Major psychopath vibes.
Time I order a cheeseburger, I make it a double so that a vegan out there in the world isn't actually making a difference.
Hopefully he chokes on his next meal. Dodo vid, let me see. Oh my God.
These are swamp rabbits, a unique species that is the largest cottontail on the planet. And these animals have an incredible superpower.
Oh my God. That's amazing. I didn't know there were rabbits that swam. That's a pretty amazing rabbit. Oh my God. Oh, it's a little baby groundhog. That's amazing. Oh my God. Well, thanks for the donation, The Only Path. Appreciate it.
Very much there that warrants any disciplinary action from the city, the mayor wrote. The officers are contracted by the property for off-duty police protection. You may want to reach out to them with any complaints.
Didn't think that it merited any disciplinary action against him. It's crazy.
Greg Freeman is a Sam Houston State criminal justice professor and retired Houston police captain.
Basically, you're enabling bad behavior now. And that's exactly what the mayor has done.
So what does Chief Portillo have to say for himself?
I was amped up. And I apologized to my city council, at city council.
Did you apologize to Constable Garcia?
No, I haven't had a chance, I haven't talked to him.
The cussing incident happened 6 months ago.
Is that the real John J. Portillo that people are seeing in this video?
No, I don't just go off the handle.
Well, you did here.
Yeah, because I got socked in the face, I was mad, I was red, and I was upset. Because they wouldn't, help me file the charges.
It's not the only example we found that calls into question Portillo's character and integrity. In his application to become Coffee City's chief, he never listed this, a DWI charge out of Florida in which he failed to appear in court.
Wow. Why didn't you disclose that, Chief?
Didn't disclose it. It was over 10 years ago.
You had an active warrant.
Huh? That was disposed of.
No, it wasn't. Court records show the day after our interview, Portillo hired a Florida defense attorney who filed a not guilty plea in the case.
From the looks of it, you weren't being truthful on the application to which you hold the job this day. Chief?
Yeah, I understand. But that's not what it is. I'm not being truthful.
You forgot?
I put down everything that was in my mind when I filled out my application to the best of my knowledge.
Well, that same job application states there are criminal consequences for lying on a government document. Len and Mia?
Okay, so there's more to this investigation tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow we reveal how some Coffee City officers were working full-time right here in Harris County and how the chief suspended that division after we started asking questions.
We'll see that tomorrow night. Thank you, Jeremy.
See you then.
Very interesting.
A KHOU11 investigation leads to changes at a Texas police department.
This week, we've showed you how the town of Coffee City, 3 hours north of Houston, is a magnet for cops with troubling backgrounds.
Now the chief is temporarily shutting down a division that works here in Harris County after Jeremy Rogowski questioned whether it's legal.
Coffee City, Texas, a dot on the map with barely 250 residents, has a police force.
What game is Dominant Species? It's a really shitty, stupid board game that Dodo wants me to play.
Of 50 officers, 5 times the number of cops than any other Texas town its size. And that's not the only thing unusual or odd. Turns out there are a half dozen full-time Coffee City police officers who don't even work in Coffee City, Texas. Instead, they work from home, more than 3 hours and nearly 200 miles away in Houston.
It's hard to believe that is happening.
Greg Freeman is a Sam Houston State criminal justice professor.
I've never seen anything like that. There are 100 questions that come to my mind.
Who are these officers? This internal email shows they're part of a warrant division. It reads, there is no need to go to Coffee City because you will be spending 95% of your time on the phone, calling people who have outstanding warrants and collecting failure to appear fines. And because it's a full-time position, there's an added perk.
It gives them the ability to go work an extra job.
Coffee City Chief John J. Portillo concedes they're on the books as full-time because state law only allows full-time cops to work extra security jobs. At this Houston apartment complex, some Coffee City warrant officers do just that and make more than $50 an hour.
They work 2-3 days a week, 4 days a week.
But is it all above board? The warrant division is a performance-based division, and officers' pay is based on the failure to appears they collect.
They're basically bounty hunters in a way.
Freeman says that amounts to a commission for collecting fines.
It doesn't make any sense. From an ethical perspective, it just screams questions about the legitimacy of what they're doing.
That's because state law requires full-time peace officers to get paid at least at the federal minimum wage. But again, at the Coffee City Warrant Division,
The court gives them $150 for each warrant that they clear.
So they don't earn a salary apart from that $150?
No, sir. No, sir.
A head?
Correct.
They get.
Correct.
Okay. Is that legal?
Oh, I believe so.
2 days after our interview, Coffee City PD changed course, sending out this email to warrant detectives that said, due to unforeseen difficulties, the program has been suspended until such time as I can make sure that we are in compliance with labor laws. So whose job is it to police the police? The Department of Public Safety enforces any extra job violations. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, or TCOL, has the power to suspend or revoke a peace officer's license. That agency confirms to us it does have an open investigation into the Coffee City Police Department, guys.
That interview raising a lot of eyebrows, Jeremy. Thank you.
We uncovered the town of 250 people has 50 officers on the force, and more than half of those officers have tainted past. Now,
Chief John J. Portillo is off the job. His job application, this active DWI
That was in my mind when I filled out my application to the best of my knowledge.
declined to comment about the suspension. And that's not the only shakeup in the Coffee City ranks. Sergeant Cody Welch resigned from the department. We don't know why. Welch also declined to comment. Jeremy Rogowski, KHOU 11 Investigates.
KHOU 11 Investigates uncovered questionable hiring practice due to how the police chief was suspended for 30.
Down with our sister station in Tyler. The mayor concedes he was unaware of many.
Did you ever reach out to John Bravo for the Big Lenny debate? Also react to this. 17-year-old Christian Miller runs a 9.93 wind legal 100 meters to break the under-20 record. Skip to 30 seconds.
I think I've already seen this clip. Yeah, it's funny I was the only white guy there and he actually beat all the black dudes. Ugh. I did not get back to John Bravo about the Big Lenny debate. BMO, can you get the fuck out of here? Holy shit, that cat is annoying. Let me see. John Bravo, there he is. Thanks for the donation though, Matthew. The Only Path to Tellers. Do you have any favorite corrupt cop movies? Really like Training Day, Brooklyn's Finest, and Place Beyond the Pines. Also, do you think if you ever became a cop, you'd try to take down corrupt cops? I think taking down corrupt cops would be my specialty if I were to ever become a cop. Corrupt cop movies. The only one that comes to mind is Training Day. That's it. I can't really think of anything else. Training Day was really good. Thanks for the donation, though, The Only Path.
Many of the issues we uncovered.
My first reaction was just kind of shocked.
Mayor Blackstone says he had no idea more than half of the 50 officers on the Coffee City Police Department had been suspended, demoted, terminated, or dishonorably discharged from previous law enforcement jobs, some even criminally charged. The mayor and all the current city council members took office after John J. Portillo was hired as police chief. So the mayor says they were unaware of what we uncovered on Portillo's job application, that he failed to list an active DWI charge out of Florida.
I was not pleased whenever I heard the allegations, because if they are true, then that looks really bad. So we just have to make sure that we get to the bottom of all of this.
The mayor says while Chief Portillo is on a 30-day paid suspension, Coffee City will investigate the issues internally, as well as hiring an independent investigation firm. The scope of that probe will include the department's warrant officers, who we found didn't even work in Coffee City, but rather stayed home in Houston on the phone trying to collect outstanding traffic fines.
We weren't really fully aware of how it was operating, and that was all kind
You
of
sound
brought-
chipper. Any new Frank vids to watch?
There is, in fact, a new Frank Tufano video, and it is going to be insanely annoying because he's just gonna blab about how Hitomi isn't vegan anymore, and vegans can't get enough nutrition, and I'm not gay, that's why I want to have sex with girls. So yeah, we'll watch that next. Thanks for the donation, James.
to light as well through this story.
Going forward, the mayor says all police applications will be reviewed by the entire city council before any officer is hired. His goal? Rebuilding the reputation of his town's police force and public trust.
These are allegations that we can't just turn a blind eye to.
Just a few hours ago, the city council in tiny Coffee City, Texas, voted unanimously to fire its police chief and deactivate the entire police department until a new chief can be hired. This comes after KHU 11 Investigates uncovered questionable practices in the department in a series of reports.
Jeremy Rogowski is in
with troubling work issues.
Go out, find a...
Well, that is dumb.
Ladies and gentlemen, the day of reckoning has arrived. It's the apocalypse, the turning point.
This video is really cringe and Frank says some dumb stuff throughout the whole video. Please watch the entire video and do not skip any parts or watch it on a faster speed. We love the cringe.
Yeah, we're watching it, don't worry. Thanks for the donation watch.
In history.
He's still very cross-eyed.
Which is why I have shaved my face. I just took a shower. My hair is all wet. I got on a fresh pair of clothes. I've polished my stilts. I straightened out one of my eyes. This eye straight. Because Hitomi is no longer vegan. And as much as this whole thing has been a gigantic joke, ever since the first video we did on her, she has blocked me on Instagram. So who knows? Maybe now that she's eating meat, she can slide into my DMs and we can send her some of that.
Here we go. She blocked him on Instagram because he sent her a dick pic. That's why.
Gelatinous, delicious collagen broth. But, you know, these vegans, how delulu do you have to be to do something? Oh, that's, I mean, this is the definition of insanity. You know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like you're vegan, your gut's been destroyed for the last 15 years of your 25-year life, and like you're still staying like very high level of delulu. What also requires a very high, I mean, I guess not high level of delulu. You have to be such a lesbian to go in the jungle with a bunch of girls, because just the smell, dude, just the smell, honestly. Hey, and maybe I'm not that straight, because unless a girl comes right out of the shower, it's questionable. It's questionable. The hygiene is questionable. Which is
It's really simple.
Why we have this quote here.
I love tacos. I love taco bowls, taco nights with friends. They're so fun.
She said it herself. She loves tacos. So we're not going to make it.
Christ.
All right, maybe we'll make some more taco jokes throughout this video. But that, you know, that's where her priorities evidently are. Because I'll say it again. To go in a jungle with, not ideal hygiene, with a bunch of girls sharing the same space, and a lot of interesting smells going on, especially when you're vegan and you're eating all these colorful foods and you're farting all over the place. I mean, dude, hey, look, doesn't matter how much of a horn dog you are, boys, you're not going to last a day in that house, okay? I don't care. You could have all the windows open, that beautiful, fresh, clean jungle air sweeping in, and it will not prevent the stink of 3 lesbian vegan girls, okay? Hopefully I'm not. Am I canceled yet? Let's start the video. The main reason I feel the need to reincorporate animal products is not just due to we finally a light's clicking in the head. I bet one of those tall, ugly white dudes took her to Nobu for like the 7th time, and maybe she finally realized it, or maybe she was just. Oh, you know what it really is? I should really start the video. I should stop yapping. But she's been dating these chicks, and honestly, girls are kind of stingy. They don't like paying for dates, even in girl-girl relationships. Like, oh, I don't want to pay for the date. You pay for the date. They're just after dinner. You got 2 lesbians staring at each other like, oh, who's gonna pull the wallet out of their coochie? Like, so now.
You ever hear of Hitomi? I guess that says Frank likes all partners. Did she say that Frank sent her a dick pic?
She never talked about it publicly, but I know it happened because I know people who know her. I don't know why Frank knows of Hitomi. I'm guessing it's just because he just Google searches vegan girl what I eat in a day all the time on fucking YouTube, but he does not have an interest in women.
You were thinking of Matthew Bowling, who was a senior in high school 5 years ago and is now pro. The difference being Bowling's 9.98 race was ran with a 4.0 tailwind and this kid ran 9.93 with a 1.6. Any tailwind 2.0 meters per second or slower is wind legal.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Thanks for the donation, Matthew.
Now, maybe, there was a fluke in her brain, and she went out with a dude, and he took her to Nobu because he could actually afford going somewhere nice, and she had some sushi, and her brain clicked on. That's my theory. Of course she's a crazy horse girl too, bro. Of course. Perfect sense. Oh, no.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. I have spent the day working at home. I have not left the house yet. I'm actually getting an IV drip right now because I'm trying to balance out my nutrient levels. So I'm getting some B12, and then I'm going to a thing called First Thursdays. I'm just so jazzed up and
imagine getting an IV drip instead of eating an egg. Imagine.
For it, but I'm gonna leave the house now, doing things.
So she's not even going to a doctor. A doctor wouldn't do that.
Things to take care of my mental health. So I love leaving the house to do anything here in South Africa because I get to witness these
did we go over this? She's in South Africa now?
beautiful, majestic mountains that seem to backdrop everything. I'll put my moody music on and just bliss out on how crazy the earth is for looking like this. But I got to my IV drip appointment and I got a bunch of different supplements put in, and I'm doing a lot of different doctor's appointments and things like this here in South Africa because it's way more affordable than doing it in the States. Even getting these supplements is more affordable.
She is not going to a doctor for this.
How long was she vegan?
I have no idea, and I'll tell you right now, she was never vegan. She just called herself vegan because she was just eating plant-based, but... like, what was her stupid-ass fucking excuse? I was deficient in a vitamin, and I also have SIBO, which can be treated with antibiotics. What, Hitomi... She made a pinned comment. I am open to trying a fully plant-based diet again in the future. The main reason I feel the need to reincorporate animal products is not just due to my deficiencies, but because my gut health issues, namely leaky gut and SIBO. I don't know what she means by fucking leaky gut. That just sounds like horse shit. I have 1,000% back on my supplementing game with iron, B12, D, and everything else I found out I was deficient in. No doubt in a few weeks I'll start feeling better due to that alone. As I said in the video, I likely wasn't being as regimented with my vitamins as I thought since my life has been a bit unstable. So she was never vegan. She was just eating plant-based. What a bitch. Thanks for the donation though, James.
Bro, go to the supermarket, Hitomi, buy the beef. You don't have to fly to South Africa and get IV drips.
Here, and I started to take sea moss gel, which within the 7
Bro,
days
this is the biggest scam product. I can't, dude. I can't.
I was filming this video, started to clear my hormonal acne, so keep an eye out for that. It really works. But in the late afternoon, I stopped by the stable that I've been volunteering
Probably all the heavy metals in the seaweed, pausing your liver function.
at. I just help out with cleaning up the horse poop, fixing their bedding, feeding all of them hay and water, and there are a lot of different horses here, so it is quite a lot of work.
This drives me a little crazy. She'll do this for a horse, but God forbid she does this for her boyfriend, right?
But I'm just so happy to be spending time
She'll literally.
I don't understand no fap. 1. Is it really that difficult? 2. Why do it? SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom 77,777.
So 1, it's not really that difficult. 2, a lot of people are just suckered into doing it because they think it will unlock some sort of magical powers. Thanks for the donation, non-web.
Literally sweep horse crap off the barn floor. And all right, I'm not going to get into this today.
with horses. I love horses so much. I've always just felt so close to them, this karmic connection to them, and just being in their presence and getting to feed them and groom them makes me feel so at home within myself. And horses are like big dogs to me. They all have different personalities and different ways of communicating, and they all just want to be fed and loved and eat yummy treats. So I don't know, I just love it so much. And then I met up with some homies to go to First Thursdays, which
I don't know how anybody can watch her fucking channel unironically. She's such a fake bitch. Like her personality is just so manufactured and fake.
is appropriately named. Basically, the first Thursday of every month, there are night markets and stores open late and people hanging out in the city. So that's what we did.
Frank talking about scams is like chickens endorsing Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. Yep, he's quite the scammer himself. Thanks for that donation, James.
We got some Ethiopian food and walked around, and I met this group of homies last time I was here at the beach, and we're all like ex-theater kid type of energy, just really wholesome. And
Ex-theater kid, aka 30 years old without a job, traveling the world on their parents' money.
Goofy together and expressive, and we stopped by this little DJ set in this hotel. I met some cuties. I love meeting you guys. And that was the evening. And the next morning I was just in a nice little blissful bubble of solitude. Like, I feel so accomplished after having a good evening of socializing. I'm like, wow.
Aaron P. Donate Teller, since that Q guy isn't in the kick or keep, will it be easier to join? How many subscribers do you think you get when you're on? Would it be easy to win? I need $500, lol. Wouldn't say it's easy to win, and I don't know who's going to be managing it and what the criteria will be to get on. So I wouldn't be able to really tell you. I don't know how many subscribers I gain from the Kick or Keep streams. Almost like clockwork, every time I do a Kick or Keep stream, I get a few more people who sub to my OnlyFans, but I don't know how many extra YouTube viewers I get. Thanks for the donation though, Aaron.
Wait, why does it look like Frank's pupils are focusing on different things each?
It's because he's cross-eyed from a cosmetic surgery he got. Thanks for the donation, CLJ.
I did something so good for myself, and now I can enjoy my alone time even more, knowing that I'm not.
Bro, how easy is your life if the hardest thing you did all day is going out to a restaurant and club to have fun, dude? I can't.
Not like running away from anything or isolating myself. So I had a nice.
What's her 1.2 million subs. She gets about 100K or so views per video. If she's making this kind of money to live this sort of lifestyle, she must be getting a lot of paid promotions. It's either that or she has like rich parents who kind of fit the bill for the most part. Who the fuck would watch this trash? Like, Jesus Christ, it's just so garbage.
Slow morning before getting ready for you.
Juicy double cheeseburger, get some fries and a milkshake. You'll be clonked out. You'll be happier than you've ever had in your life, Hitomi. Swear on it.
Of my gut issues as well. I'm creating a new peaceful world. I'm making my home environment and the way that I regard myself into something.
Yo, if she had that much saturated fat in one meal after restricting herself for these past 15 years, her brain would turn into the moon.
So sacred, and really prioritizing that because, you know, I've been in this like deep sad space, and something in me really switched last night where I was like, you cannot do this. You need to empower yourself.
I mean, honestly, if she has been vegan this long, I think it's been like a long time, like 7, 8, 9, 10 years. She has the vegan brain damage already. Like, being deprived of B vitamins and animal nutrition that long,
doesn't Frank constantly talk about how he's like retarded?
In that car, I wonder if that woman sitting to the left of Hitomi had a boob job. Also, how does she earn money? How much do you think she earns each month?
I'm not sure. She doesn't earn money through YouTube, but she doesn't get enough views and upload frequently enough to earn much. I'm assuming she either gets like paid promotions from like beauty, cosmetic brands, stuff like that, or again, like a lot of her lifestyle is paid for by her parents or something, or like some sort of inheritance she got. She talks and acts like a kid who's just like a inheritance kid. Thanks for the donation though, James. Yeah, like Frank saying veganism fries your brain and makes you retarded. Frank, every fucking time he makes a video, admits he's a retard. Like he says, my brain isn't functioning properly. I can't think straight. Like every fucking time he makes a video. And this dumbass also paid $30,000 to get his eyes crossed. Like, Jesus. Mike donated $2. Is it true that your metabolism will slow down if you cut back calories too aggressively? Your body will make metabolic adjustments, but it doesn't really affect your BMR that much. So I wouldn't really worry about that. I think when people cut back calories really severely and they notice their weight loss kind of plateaus inexplicably, it's probably just from a massive reduction in non-exercise energy expenditure. And it's not just from metabolic adaptations made due to energy restriction. The metabolic adaptations you make from energy restrictions are pretty minor. Thanks for the donation, though, Mike.
You 100% have some level of brain damage. The question is, at what point did it get bad enough for her to end up like this?
Okay, things are gonna get better. You're going to feel better, and you need to not give up on yourself right now, and you need to create the most beautiful healing space around yourself and give your nervous system medicine and not act upon this heavy little season right now. Act as if you are so healthy, living your dream life, everything is perfect, and amplify that feeling. and I am living my dream life. I'm just having health issues. So yeah.
Hey, maybe it worked. Maybe she manifested herself to not be vegan anymore.
I'm just feeling a lot clearer and lighter, and it feels so good.
Yo, haven't vegans done this before? Like, where they'll make a video and then like towards the end they'll reveal that they're not vegan anymore, and then instead of the beginning. Yo, this crib is definitely an upgrade from where she was.
Does she eat horse meat?
I don't believe she does. Thanks for the donation, James.
Bro, imagine if in South Africa, eating biltong all day, walking through the woods.
It's
Sounds
been
fun.
a few hours since I got back from yoga, and I have just spent the day right.
Stupid wealthy cunt with more money than sense and a bunch of mental disorders. I'm retarded and I'm vibing. Welcome to Aftika. I'm on my journey. Come with me and be a neurotic vibe king on God. Yes, queen. Let's seek homeostasis, bestie.
Yeah, I wish I had a death note, you know? A death note, giving me specifically a death note, would solve so many of the world's problems. Thanks for the donation, fuck.
Writing up a bunch of different video ideas and video treatments. For any sit-down talking video that I have written out every single point that I talk about just to make sure that I don't miss anything. And I'm going to ecstatic dance a little bit later.
So I woke up, and feeling so good. I just love my morning routines. So then I make myself a nice cup of matcha because I love matcha, almost as much as I love horses. They make me feel so healthy and so energized. Love you guys.
Yeah, even when you say it, it's annoying. Thanks for the donation, Hitomi, sub to my OnlyFans.
I have to be honest.
What was there that we could have missed?
I spent the past weekend completely alone. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I was finishing my taxes.
That's not a weekend.
It takes me a while because I always wait till the very end of the tax season, and then I have to separate all of my expenses. I have to look over all of my investments, collect and procure all my 1099s from the year, and I redo my budget for the coming year, and it just is a little bit of a tedious process. So I just spent quite a bit of time in that little mental space, and I'm so excited to...
I never understood why. Well, I mean, it's not usually not more than $1,000 or $2,000 to have an accountant do everything for you, which, depends on what your time is worth, but...
Socialize, because I really do. I feel like by day 5, I need to cut myself off.
In the chat, someone says she does eat horse liver.
Well, that would be incredibly hypocritical because she just said she loves horses. Thanks for the donation though, James.
I mean, those are rookie numbers for me. I have gone way longer completely alone, but I feel myself starting to go crazy in the echo chamber of my mind. So yeah, I'm very excited for that today. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of self-care in this vlog, and honestly,
Bro, that's like dudes going 3 years without getting laid and just being like whatever, and then chicks crying for D after 2 days of not meeting with their roster.
I have been feeling, not the best about myself or my appearance. I'm definitely not in my moment, I'm really feeling okay, I'm in a little death cycle. This isn't me feeling so radiant.
I can't blame her, bro. She needs those Bronx Puerto Ricans in her crotch. It's what she's used to, right?
But I just keep pouring love into myself, and that makes me feel confident. That just reminds me that I am always whole and complete just as I am, and I don't actually need to change anything, and there's nowhere that I need to arrive to be.
Please watch, donate $2.
This new journey, moving from New Jersey.
I don't have enough money. Be watched for 15 seconds.
poisonous product seats.
Yep. That is the Vegan Gains theme song. That's hilarious. When you binge watch Vegan Gains videos. Vegan Gains brought me here. It's hilarious that those are the top comments.
Journey.
That's been a very weird journey.
And the journey has just begun.
And going through the journey. And his journey had a lot to do with my journey because obviously
Journey.
The end of my vegan journey.
This is just my own personal journey.
Journey.
This is just
Yes, Frank, we know you are a gay bisexual.
He is not bisexual, he's just fucking gay. I don't think I've seen anybody who hates pussy as much as Frank. He's just gay as fuck. Thanks for the donation, James.
Please react.
I just find you to be so adorable.
Oh my god.
So good. You want to roll over for me?
Oh my god.
Roll over. Come on. Oh, you got
Whoa.
it.
Oh my god. He did it again. Oh my god, he did it again. Oh my god, he keeps doing it.
Roll over.
Holy shit.
Roll over.
So orange. Jesus Christ.
Roll over.
Oh my god. That's amazing. Thanks for the donation, Ethan, though.
just a journey.
I cheered on ants as they journeyed up a tree trunk. Journey.
I'm just sharing my journey.
A very interesting journey.
Journeys are so different for everyone.
You know, Elise Parker has that I do butt fucking face. Can tell just by her face she takes it up the ass.
Journey. So different for everyone. Health journey.
Journey.
So I feel like health is a journey.
Journey. We all eat kale and never think about it, but that kale had a journey.
My journey, egg journey.
My journey.
Journey.
Everybody has their journey.
Journey.
Everyone's journey.
Journey.
Your journey.
I decided to do a 25-day
Journey.
Journey.
This new journey, moving from New Journey.
Dude, go have some journey.
Journey.
Yeah, that is, when they all start using the same language, like journey, it's just weird.
Be even more confident or capable of fulfilling my dreams. It's just an energetic experience, and by doing little acts of self-care, by going to yoga, by not isolating myself.
What's the dream, bro? What's the dream? Is the vegan's dream to fertilize the entire world because of their incredibly large bowel volume? Is that what it is? Because they need to eat like 7 to 8 pounds of vegetation a day to get the same amount of caloric nutrition as like a...
The only path, donate $2. Do you love Pokemon as much as this guy?
One of them motherfuckers. Pokemon. Yeah, I like Pokemon, bitch, and what? I love Pokemon. I beat out to every episode, nigga. You gonna sit up here and talk shit to me? I love Pokemon, son. Pikachu, Raichu, Squirtle, Charizard. Why you hating? Cause I like Pokemon and you don't? That's the real gangsters. Fuck the Crips and the Bloods. Blastoise versus Charizard, nigga. Now what? Ash is a faggot. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Ash is gay. Every season he gets a new female partner. And he don't fuck not one.
When did you first become vegan rich?
It was just before my 19th birthday. So, 14 years ago now. Thanks for the donation, CLJ.
Not one bitch He ain't never bent over and said, let me give you this poker dick. I would have been fucking my motherfucking female companions every goddamn episode. They wouldn't call it Pokemon, they'll call it poke a hoe. Give a fuck, nigga. Bitch, Misty wanted his dick, nigga. And he gonna make Misty go off. Now, I'll be like, Pikachu, take notes. And how come you never see an episode when the Pokemon's fucking? I want to see Pikachu fuck the shit out of a Gyarados. I want to see some Pokemon fucking. They should make Pokemon XXX. That shit would sell millions of dollars.
Well, I gotta search this now. Pikachu fucking Gyarados. Let me see if I can find it. This is very weird. Oh my god. There's Pokemon furry porn. They like anthropomorphize Pikachu and make him look like a girl human Pikachu. I didn't even know this existed.
Sound out for the first 2 links.
Alright, let me see. That is very weird.
Hey VG. I don't seem to receive notifications when you go live. But I receive notifications from other YouTube channels. I don't know if other people have a similar issue. Maybe you're shadow banned? Just thought I'd give you a heads up.
I know some people do have issues getting notifications. Not so sure if I'm shadow banned because people do get notified, and when I upload, sometimes I can, like, you know, get well over 10k views on a video, shit like that. Sometimes I get 20 or 30k. So I don't think I'm shadow banned. I think it has more to do with YouTube just being fucking stupid. It might also have something to do with when I go live, so I go live a bit later than some other people. Might have something to do with that. Thanks for the donation, though, Sanderbling. That is a nice bearded
Hey, what's
lizard.
going on, guys? So we're here.
Let's see. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. That's amazing. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
Good evening VG. I hope that you are doing great tonight. So, you know that Chinese/Japanese/Dirtinese/ look at these vegan lawyer you had on? Well, the org he's with supports harm us with this post SMH.
Vegan lawyer. Oh, you mean, Wayne Shung. Direct action everywhere, network nonviolent animal rights activists, blah, 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 liberation, value fierce nonviolence, blah, 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 ceasefire, US backed is, oh my god, dude. Well, Wayne isn't a part of DXC anymore. So I don't know if Wayne in any way supports this, but Jesus Christ. I had another interview with Wayne, and that interview is going to get posted to his channel sometime in May. I mentioned Gaza during that interview and Hamas and everything, and he didn't have anything to say. Like, I said Bernie's a Palestinian cuck, but he didn't say anything to that, so I don't think he's like a Hamas apologist. Call for immediate permanent ceasefire. So, what do they mean by permanent ceasefire? So, like, Hamas can just murder Israelis and Israel is not supposed to do anything about it? For the free flow of humanitarian aid to Gaza, there's plenty of humanitarian aid. The release of all hostages, yeah, tell Hamas that. Both Israeli and Palestinian, there's no Palestinian hostages. The lifting of the siege of Gaza, an embargo on military aid to Israel, and the rebuilding of Gaza to enable the return of the refugees. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, this is retarded and makes no sense. Thanks for the donation, Ben.
Of Pokemon porn. This is what happens when Batman lets Joker gone too far.
Batman, I caught a little Pokemon. Do you want to know what Pokemon I caught?
What Pokemon did you catch, Joker?
I caught a little punny, Batman. I caught a little punny.
Oh no, Joker. Don't tell me.
Yeah, you already know, Batman. You know what I'm gonna do to that thing.
Joker, it's an animal, Joker. You can't.
Batman, there's no laws against the Pokemon, Batman. I can do whatever I want with it.
No, Joker. No, don't do it.
I'm gonna do it, Bat.
Well, that's interesting. Thanks for the donation, Will Mage.
I love Pokemon. Are you gonna sit up here and be rude to me? You gonna sit here and laugh at me? I'm not laughing.
Is this the guy who made the dance around pizza video? Damn it. That dance around pizza video is fucking amazing. Yeah, there we go.
You been playing football with my pizza?
No, man. We take care of our pizzas in the most sensitive ways.
Dance around pizza, nigga. Dance around pizza. Dance around pizza, nigga. Dance around that.
Yeah, there was like a remix version of this too. Might have gotten deleted from YouTube, but the Dance Around Pizza remix was fucking amazing.
This ain't no joke. This is real life. I love Pokemon. Can the Bloods shoot you with a motherfucking water gun attack?
Which guns would you like the most if Canada's gun laws weren't cucked? You, hurrah, you, hurrah, you, hurrah, you, You boned.
All of them? Like, I mean, legalizing machine guns here would be fucking amazing. That would open the door up to a lot. One gun that I'd really love to own would be a Tommy gun. One of the original, Blishlock Tommy guns, that'd be great. Like the ones they made in the 1920s. The Blishlocking system, it didn't work like it claimed to work, but the Blishlocking Thompsons, they're just very smooth firing, much less recoil, and they fire faster. So yeah, if they uncucked the firearms laws here, I'd like a Blishlocking Thompson rifle. That'd be pretty fucking dope. And just like a bunch of other machine guns, it'd be nice to be able to get like an M249 or what is it? Like a 308 machine gun, like belt fed, something like that would be pretty dope. Thanks for the donation, Oatgoat.
Nah, Crips can't. Can the Bloods shoot fire out their goddamn mouth like Charizard? No. Can Bloods or Crips evolve? No. Stop hating on Pokemon. Everybody out here talking mess about Pokemon. Talking about some Pikachu weak. Pikachu can't fight. Pikachu whoop your ass. And I swear to God, if any of y'all, I ever see any of y'all making fun of my Pokemon.
Why do retards waste a donation to message you? RR. You? RR. I don't get the joke.
It's just funny sounding spam. That's really all it is. Thanks for that donation, Vegan Linguist.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you.
Tommy, you donated $2. Let me see.
What you're seeing here are Israeli occupational forces destroying a Palestinian-owned business in Ramallah. They're not only destroying it, but taking active joy in it and actively posting it on social media for the world to see. Again, that happened in Ramallah.
Yeah, so do you think there might be a reason they're doing this?
The West Bank, far away from the Gaza Strip, where Palestinians have reported Israeli soldiers looting and destroying businesses and
Yeah, so there are Hamas terrorist hideouts in the West Bank. They have to conduct operations regularly in the West Bank because of Hamas, so probably has something to do with that.
In similar fashion. I think that's particularly notable as it shows that Israeli occupational forces, no matter where Palestinians are doing everything they can to terrorize them. We're watching video after video.
This guy can't even provide any sort of context of what's going on here. And he also is one of these dumb fucks who assumes, oh, well, it's the West Bank. Hamas isn't in the West Bank.
Of a genocidal occupational force doing what it does best, terror.
Oh, genocidal occupational force. That's weird. Funny how they have such fucking trouble killing innocent people. Like, what's the death count at now? Like, around 20,000? They literally could turn both Gaza and the West Bank into a fucking parking lot anytime they wanted, within literally minutes. But they've only managed to kill, what, 20, 30,000 civilians? So I guess they're just bad at committing a genocide. They don't know how to do it.
Terrorizing civilians, forcing them out of their homes and businesses, and trying their best to eliminate them in all forms but nostalgia. That's been the reality for Palestinians for literal generations, right? So-called Israel's founding period, 19...
Yes, let's ignore the fact that Palestinians are the ones who engaged in warfare first. It wasn't the Israelis who started a war with Palestinians. It was Palestinians who started a war with fucking Israel. Let's ignore all the terrorist attacks and rocket strikes and bombings. The Israelis are terrorizing the Palestinians.
Cool, then let me try.
That was great. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Linguist.
1947 and 1949 alone in villages.
Blah, blah, blah. I want to
All of
suck
us between Western
Palestinian
governments
dick.
like other
Arabs turn me on. La, la, la. Whatever.
Some things.
So, let me see if I can find the original source of this video. IDF destroying business West Bank. I can't. I don't even see anything here. Israeli forces destroying Palestinian business in the West Bank. I don't even know where he found this fucking video. So he just found a random video, not understanding any of the context behind it, and just made a bunch of assumptions that, oh yeah, you know, the IDF, they just go into random businesses that have nothing to do with Hamas or terrorism, and they just smash stuff up for fun. That's what he thinks is going on. Okay.
Jigglypuff is the finest bitch on Pokemon. I be wanting to fuck the shit out of Jigglypuff and have the bitch sing to me. Jigglypuff, jiggly nigga dick.
He's still uploading. That's actually impressive.
We about to watch the Joker trailer, y'all.
Is Trump?
Let me see, Cody.
Arresting me for what? I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was in America. I'm sorry. Oh, is this a communist country or something? I thought this is America. This is America. This is America.
Yep. That is Trump. That was a really good episode. That was one of the best South Park episodes ever. Thanks for the nation, Cody. Kid Boot any tellers, what a dumbass. Let me see. Israeli settler kicks a mined Palestinian flag. That's probably not a good idea. I don't know if I should even... Jesus. Whoa, yeah, you got blown up. I'm not gonna watch this on stream. Let me see.
בדרך לצפון, הלכנו להוריד את הסמרטוט המכוער הזה של המדינה שאינה קיימת. גועל נפש. חיים בינינו, לא יאומן.
Holy fuck.
זה פשוט היה פאק. אני לא מאמינה.
That nigga blown to bits.
חיים בינינו, לא יאומן.
He was literally blown to bits. Jesus. Yeah, just instant death. Wow. Well, fuck the Palestinians who planted that flag.
These delusional Pallywood supporters can have their win on the PR war. They are on balls deep with terrorist propaganda that they have developed a fetish for self-brainwashing. It's better than Israel losing the actual war.
Pallywood supporters can have their win on the PR war. Yeah, I guess they're winning the PR war because most idiots, like, when they see, Like, dude, you can post footage of the IDF doing shit that is perfectly legal, perfectly sensible, and then everybody's gonna say, oh, see how evil Israel is? Obviously they're murdering innocent people that have nothing to do with Hamas, and they don't even understand the whole context of the video. So, well, you know, they can talk shit all they want. They're still gonna get blown up. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
Go back to Frank.
We shall go back to Frank, just for you. Thanks for the donation, James.
A pound of grains. So, too bad they don't compost it all.
For too long, it allows me to feel all the radiance that is inherent within me, and yeah, pay a lot less mind to any judgmental thoughts or any feelings of inadequacy. I just don't really feed into those, and they don't affect my action.
Alright,
we got a 5-minute yap session.
And also, like this past weekend, I honestly had no energy to see other people because I had these things on my to-do list. I've had them on my to-do list for so long, and it just felt so good to surrender to that. I was taking baths every day. I was taking so many naps because I was even more fatigued than I normally am. I just feel so
Where the fuck is my
safe to
phone?
give myself that permission and unconditional love.
Very low testosterone. And females are supposed to have testosterone too. You need it for energy.
Love and grace to be like, you know what? This is okay. This right here, what you're experiencing and how that affects your productivity levels or your desire to share your energy with people or even your internal dialogue, like it is all okay, and there's nothing that needs to change, and only the voice of love will get you through it. Only the voice of love can neutralize every single story and return you back to wholeness.
Voice of love. I'm gonna kill animals now. Because nutrients.
I'm grateful for the opportunity. This is all part of the whole. What is this trying to teach me? What is being reflected back at me? And how have I created
A nice juicy steak is the voice of love.
Frank Tufano gives pro-pally vibes.
As far as I understand, when it comes to Frank Tufano's political views, he just hates Jews. I don't think he's actually pro-Palestinian in any way, other than he just hates Jews. So, pretty sure he hates Palestinians too. He's pretty racist. But, yeah, he just hates Jews. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Linguist.
Karma and lesson for myself to learn. So anyway, I'm gonna finish doing these video treatments. Woo! I really have been trying to look cute and put at least like 10% effort into my appearance every day, but I'm gonna choose comfort.
I'm down,
over
Pocahontas.
anything else.
Why is her face so greasy all the time? Have you all noticed that her face is like super greasy? Like you can see the reflections off her face. Like there's just a layer of grease over her face constantly.
Else every single time.
Like look how why? Why is her face that oily?
Even though this is extra crunchy looking, I still think it's really cute. And ecstatic dance is really nice because
For those of you who don't know what crunchy is, crunchy moms are like health nut moms. You know? Speaking of which, a lot of these moms have been making tooth powder. Like everyone and their mother has been making their own tooth powder. Like, guys, don't buy tooth powder from someone who doesn't have a background in nutrition. Are they using clay that has heavy metals in it? You know, what the hell are they putting in there? You got to be careful.
really just moving whatever energy is within.
Where the hell does this guy get all this poop for his video? Yuck.
Poop looks like small hard pebbles and it's really hard to pass. You're likely pretty constipated. If your poop looks like a sausage but it's still kind of lumpy and still a little bit hard to pass, you're not as constipated but it's still there. If your poop looks like a sausage but there's cracks in the top, you're having a pretty good bowel movement. If your poop looks like a sausage but it's nice and smooth, you're having an excellent bowel movement and you should be proud of yourself. If your poop is kind of separated and they're soft, easy to pass blobs, you're getting into having diarrhea. If your poop has small pieces that are kind of fluffy, watery, and super easy to pass, you are having diarrhea. And if your poop is all water or mainly water, you have an inflamed gut and there's likely something going on causing extreme diarrhea.
Frank, we understand about you and Pocahontas.
Well, Frank would never have any interest in Pocahontas. We know why. Thanks for the donation, James. And pretty sure that's just Clay. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
In your body and liberating it in any way that you want, and there's no judgment, and it's a sober place to just move. And sometimes, you know, it does look like just kind of like deep breathing and moaning and these kind of
This is what happens when you're surrounded by the wrong people like your entire life. Like, her brain cells need to reformulate.
spiritual things, and sometimes it is just like twerking and shaking to some drums. A space that welcomes all of your expression, and that's why I really adore.
Does she have an OnlyFans? Let me see. This just
For most of my life, my confidence has been
TikTok clothing collection doesn't appear so. Okay then. Yeah, dude, her face is so greasy. Does she put something on her face to make it this greasy? Like, just every photo or and shit I see of her, there's just so much grease glistening on her face. And then she complains about having acne. Like, why don't you just use soap? Really weird.
It, but
It could just be the vegan brain damage, honestly.
Sing this song. This should be Trump's song if instead of water puck it's country lol.
Okay, I will sing this for you. Thanks for the donation, Ben. What has happened to this place? I don't recognize it anymore. It used to be so fun and special. What is life worth living anymore? The dream is dead, our land is gone. There's a hole in my heart and I can't go on. There are too many minorities at my water park. This was our land, our dream, and they've taken it all away. They just keep coming and coming. I try to go and tell the police, but even the authorities are minorities at my water park. There's no place for me to sit anymore, and the lines just keep getting crazier. There are Mexicans all around me. The lazy river has never been lazier. It's a 40-minute wait to go down one slide, and the instructions are in Spanish on the zipline ride. There are too many minorities at my water park. Somebody do something. Where did they all come from? Why can't they leave this land alone? And it's such a tragedy. We've looked the other way too long. We've got to change our priorities and get all these minorities out of my water park. Minorities, Mexicans and Asians, black people. Think I even saw a Native American cross. Gross. God, I'm asking, please get all of these minorities out of my water park. Yeah, that should be Trump's, that should be Trump's theme song.
Oh, hey, kid! Oh, thank God you happened by. My chair ran out of juice right on these train tracks. If you hadn't have shown up, well, anyway, could you give me a push? No, you don't understand. I'm paralyzed from the neck down. I pushed the chair with this device in front of my mouth, but it's not working, so you see—
I'm not supposed to talk to you!
Please, this isn't funny, kid. You have to help me.
But it could be a trick! That's a pretty good trick.
and it just becomes a whole evening of co-regulation. So, me encanta mucho y me voy ahorita. Vamos.
Speaking Spanish in South Africa?
What's up? How's it going? I literally just rolled out of bed and threw this outfit on, and I have to run to a little dermatology appointment this morning, and then I'm gonna co-work at a cafe for a few hours and then go to the gym, and then I'm having some friends over for dinner
What does co-work mean?
around 6 p.m.
She's not
So
getting paid.
that's my day. I really like leaving the house early. As you can see from this video, I've been going to yoga in the mornings. I've been trying to get out in the mornings, strategically putting things on my schedule, and sometimes I don't want to do them, but I know that it's good for me. And ecstatic dance last night, for example, was so good, and I had so much fun, and it was so healing, and I had so many moments of clarity and lightness.
Yeah, I agree, Hitomi. I think you need a job. I agree.
And joy, and it
Do I have a porn addiction? I don't believe so.
was just great, and I'm so happy that I went, even though I felt so tired and didn't want to go. So exhibit a million examples of this in my life. I'm gonna head out, my big journal and all, always carrying such cumbersome things, but you know what, I did leave my typewriter back in New York this time on my trip, and I am proud of myself for that, because it is kind of ridiculous, all the things that I bring with
Oh
me.
my god, who the fucking watched this? It's so boring.
I love vegan cheese. I never ate cheese before I went plant-based. I would literally tell people that I was allergic to it. I just never liked the taste of it. But when I started eating vegan cheese, I actually fell in love with it. And I've been trying to find a vegan
Rotten nuts. They take low quality, regular commercial, conventionally grown nuts, whatever it is, cashews. They blend it up, puree it, filter it, add chemicals, flavorings, yeast, that type of stuff, and then ferment it for a few months. So definitely
That is what cheese is, Frank.
very unhealthy.
cheddar that doesn't have cashew, because all the ones here have cashews in it.
Sometimes they use coconut.
This one doesn't.
She just eats bites out of fucking vegan cheese? What the fuck?
And it's so good. And I've just been craving mac and cheese so ravenously. So I think I'm gonna have to make some gluten-free mac and cheese with this.
The fuck is this?
But I have to drop a bomb on you guys. Like,
Here it
I'm not
goes, here
vegan
it goes.
anymore. I'm incorporating animal products into my diet because of, let me move this.
This
How
is
terrible-
this is the epitome of gaslighting. She's eating some vegan cheese, talking about how she's craving mac and cheese so much, and then about how she's going to make a gluten-free vegan mac and cheese, and then instantly saying, I'm incorporating animal.
Why do you watch porn if you're married? Shouldn't you sleep with your significant other? Yes, because my wife wants to have sex every day, multiple times a day. You idiot.
Product. It's almost like me having a giant plate of steak in front of me and breaking the news to you guys that I'm going vegan now. Like,
She must be an influencer. She sounds like a vast girl. The cows might feel differently.
Well, yeah, she's a selfish, spoiled, rich fucking brat who just started uploading stupid YouTube videos, and she's an entitled cunt. So yeah, thanks for the donation, James.
it's so ridiculous.
I've been feeling and how strongly my doctor has been recommending that I incorporate colostrum and bone broth into my diet. I know that there's so many other implications and
She's not seeing a doctor, she's seeing like a naturopath or something.
conversations that really emerged from me saying this, and that I completely agree with. There's the ethics, there's the climate change, there's the, health effects of
Which are all completely wrong. It's all vegan propaganda. That's actually incorrect.
eating animal products, but I am desperate to heal my body, and because of my deficiencies, I'm basically like a malnourished person, and my gut is not doing well, and colostrum and bone broth are...
All right, so, I mean, obviously colostrum and bone broth are two high-quality, healthy animal foods. I think colostrum
They are not high quality, nor are they healthy.
is really overstated. The immune benefits, it's for a baby cow. It's not really for a human. From an immune health perspective, like, we have glandulars on organ supplements like Thymus, and...
For once, I say hats off to the New York Post for actually posting accurate news on calling out Marjorie Traitor Jewish space lasers green for who she really is, lol.
Let me see. Sometimes New York Post gets it right. GOP rebels defeated as House passes 61 billion in Ukraine aid. Niet Moscow Marjorie. Yeah. Dude, that was hilarious when they got that historian at the house, and he absolutely fucking destroyed her fucking retardation, and that other congressman fucking said, Marjorie, if you have such a problem with Nazis, then why are you attending Nazi rallies? That was great. She's such a dumb bitch. Thanks for the donation, Ben.
An immune strength thing that also has some lymph tissue in there, which is closer, more bioidentical to humans. So for me, colostrum, okay, it's milk, it's protein, it's B vitamins, but if you're even comparing it to yogurt or kefir, whatever however you want to pronounce it, those are two foods that are going to be way more nutritious and beneficial to your gut health. And you actually can't fix your gut health without a probiotic like kefir or yogurt or water kefir. Bone broth.
So, yeah, that's not true. Probiotics don't really do anything. You have to have a massive bacterial load to actually affect your gut microbiome. You're usually not going to be able to affect your gut microbiome to any significant degree by eating probiotics.
I mean, it's a good protein source. It's not complete. You know, it's collagen. Your body breaks it down into amino acids. It's good to have, but you want to have some actual red meat in the diet too.
Very helpful in repairing the gut lining, and I haven't even eaten or
It does not repair your gut lining.
had the bone broth yet. I found some local brand here, but it's been sitting in my fridge, and I probably will make some soup out of it or eat it some point soon, and I just want to put that out
Mental breakdown. Buys the bone broth and is afraid of it in the fridge.
there. I just want to be really transparent and candid with you guys. I have loved eating plant-based, and if my body wasn't falling apart the way that it is, I would probably continue.
Your body's falling apart, and it's like you're dipping
Yeah, so she was never vegan.
your toes in the pool. You know, you're dipping your toes in. You're not going, why can't these people, like, okay, you're not vegan anymore. Why don't you just go all out for a week and see how it is? You know, just have steak and bone broth every single meal, you know? Why don't you do something smart, all right? We're at the point, we're not vegan anymore. Just, okay, fine. Yeah, go ahead, do what you want to do. Dip your toes in for another 7 years and mess your gut up even more by taking a sip of bone broth with your chunk 3,000 calorie hog of vegan cheese.
And I wasn't supplementing well because I've been traveling. Every time I would run out of my vitamins and supplements, I just wouldn't replenish them. I didn't have an urgency to do that. I didn't do the plant-based diet well. I haven't been doing it well the past year of full-time travels. I never went vegan for the label of it, for the clickbait of it. It just genuinely made my body feel so good.
She was never vegan. Like, again. I don't feel good. I'm gonna eat colostrum and bone broth. I guess I'm not vegan anymore. Like, you were never vegan, clearly.
And I've always preached just literally listening to
It just genuinely made my body feel so good. We can go scroll through her YouTube videos right now, and like every week for the past 5 years is her complaining about her gut health.
your body and nourishing yourself well in ways that feel sustainable in your life. And I'm just gonna have to honor that and embody that. And it's okay if you disagree with me and my choices. I accept that.
Maybe Frank should gift her some of his wares.
Yeah, and hopefully it has fucking salmonella in it and she dies. Thanks for the donation, James.
And it's okay, and I completely understand your perspective. There's like, you know, just the ethical side and the sustainable side, but I'm just sharing honestly with you where I'm at, and I wouldn't be incorporating animal products
She clearly doesn't give two fucking shits about the ethics, obviously.
if it didn't feel like a dire thing. I'm not trying to offend anyone by saying this. This is just my current reality, and I just want to be honest about it. But I'm gonna get ready for the gym. I've been going to the gym pretty
What a pathetic loser.
regularly because I need those endorphins. I need to feel that aliveness and like the strength of my body.
You gotta
So
bring
I'm
those
gonna
jungle girls back. Where was she? Where was she? Like in Brazil or something, or Costa Rica? Where was that? I forgot where she was with the jungle girls.
yeah, spend like an hour and a half there, and then come back and get ready to have some people over. I got home from the gym, I showered, I'm putting on my 1-minute makeup routine of blush, and I'm gonna use these little lips. I don't know why I said that. I'm gonna use this lipstick. I cooked dinner for everyone, it's in the oven, and I feel like
God.
such a mom because I just love feeding my friends, and I'll just host dinner parties where I literally do everything.
Those must not be too.
So much. But honestly, I've been kind of sad today because I stayed up until midnight yesterday talking to my ex and having a really hard conversation, and I was crying, and I mean, I've cried almost every single day. That has not made it into this video, but I'm just being with it all. But
This will be heated.
this is so cool. At the sunlight through the leaves, so they couldn't be
Crying at the end. I can't. The accomplishment of having a good social time is so. Oh God, help me! Oh my God. All right, well, there's just like a lot. Like, you want to talk about ethics? Yeah, okay. Is it better to spray and kill billions, if not trillions, of bugs and small rodents and destroy? Like, ethically speaking, you know, you're just arguing which life is worth more. You know, one cow or all the bugs.
We've gone over this before. Frank cannot provide any evidence that vegans kill more insects than would otherwise be killed in nature. If you're going to compare the amount of insects that die in plant agriculture versus animal agriculture, more insects die in animal agriculture.
Frank and the Jungle Girls.
Yeah, well, it would just be Frank jerking off to gay porn, and the girls would be in the other room. Thanks for that donation, James.
And rabbits and deer and stuff, you know? That's the ethic argument. So it's kind of out the window because you're causing harm to some living being either way. The environmental thing is also it's all propaganda. The environmental thing is correct. You know, how is a cow eating grass naturally bad for the environment? You're gonna go kill all the deer in the woods too? Like you're gonna go out to the Great Plains and kill all the bison?
Yeah, so forestry is getting torn down for grassland for grass grazing cattle. You idiot. It's also forests are also getting cleared to grow corn and soy for these cows. You dumbass.
Buffalo because they're farting too much. Like it's just completely ridiculous. Illogical nonsense. What's the other argument? The health? Well, we know that's fake because she's falling apart. So I guess the vegan movement is finally going away.
Yeah, the health argument, because this dumb bitch says I have health problems. How many health problems does Frank claim he has? He has liver damage that still isn't better after I don't know how many years on his new fucking diet. He has sleep issues. His brain doesn't function properly. He needs 20 different fucking supplements every fucking day for him to claim to even be able to function.
Making room for the Texas Cattlemen's Feedlot Beef Association. Oh, hey, boys. Soy. Ooh-wee. A little bit, but...
Well, that was terrible. Beast Mode donated $2. Video 1, Beast Chinese food, mall beef diet. Video 2, Beast posing.
Hey friends, guess what? It's T-Parak. I'm back. Look, Simon is here. We're nations, bro. See that Simon here? Nations. The best place. And look how much beef I have here, bro. I already been eating. I'm gonna eat that whole thing of beef because keep asking me, what are you eating? Do you think I'm gonna spend money on vegetables and fruits, bro? I gotta waste my money on vegetables? I'm gonna eat meat. Just like my friend here. Look, he's eating chicken. He's eating meat.
They all look like they eat meat. Too much meat. Kid Boo donated $2. Let me see.
Yeah, gonna show you.
I will take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for that donation, Kid Boo.
Simon's friend here. That's just crazy. See that? See that?
If you boil the fish bone, they become soft, and you only eat this one. In fact, you feel not hungry for almost 2 days, and they don't give you crampe.
All that engineered, man-made food, you're gonna feel sick all the time. You're gonna be sick, feel sick, and money waste.
Well, he's stupid.
All right, bro. I did. Man, it's brutally
I see he's still overweight.
hot in here. I don't know, man. I did my my back today and super high reps, bro. I don't know. It was fucking. Yeah, I gotta show you what it looked like.
I thought he said exercise is bad for you. Like, didn't he stop lifting weights?
So what is this, like 14? Day 14?
He thinks he looks good. This is so fucking awkward, dude. This girl's looking at him like, what is this guy's problem? He has good calves. It's probably because he's like overweight, but credit where credit's due. Well, that's a genetic beast.
Damn good show. Joy Reid. This woman's a perfect example when you select somebody for a job based on attributes other than merit. Yeah, well, she's a token. She's a token, and she's on that. She's got that show for a reason to keep other black people thinking just as stupid as she is. Yeah, she's there to oppress the black man. Yeah, the black woman. She's there to feed propaganda. Yeah. To the black community, and they're gonna use a black face.
Frankie, if you eyed attention during US history class, you would know that RA hunters killed the bison. We done with Frank?
Yes, we are done with Frank. There's no other Frank Tufano videos. Thanks for the donation though, James.
face to do it. Yeah. Because you know how black people are. Oh, man, I like her, man. She's one.
Oh, wait, this is funny.
Riding the train is safe if you follow safety rules, but crossing tracks, for example, can get you killed. So can climbing on top of trains when they're moving.
We got reports of some people riding the backpacks to your locomotive. Can you check it out when you get a chance, please?
Around midnight Saturday, Metrolinx got calls that people were on top of a train traveling east from Union Station.
There were 4 youths between the ages of 14 to 16, and while the train was in motion, 3 of the youths left the coach area of the train and climbed up onto the roof.
A deadly risk. On the way to the Danforth stop, one of the teens hit his head. This is the call from paramedics making an emergency run.
When a 13-year-old male was on the roof of a GO train where he was struck.
The injured boy is 15 years old, and he was transported to a hospital, and he is there today, and he is in life-threatening condition.
In a statement, Metrolinx said incidents like this are too often tragic and life-altering, and we urge everyone not to take this dangerous action. A similar incident happened last
TikTok. It's all for the TikTok.
year when a 16-year-old climbed atop a TTC subway train.
There was undetermined motivation for why the young person was attempting to climb onto the outside of the car.
Young people often want to
It's TikTok. I can guarantee you they had their phones out.
showcase stunts to social media.
Most of the time when someone posts a video like this online, it is to get attention.
We see it on social media as like a thrill-seeking type of incident or something that you could showcase, but definitely not. It is something that could change your life.
As it did this weekend. Shawn.
Wow, what a dumbass.
One of us. Check out this video.
To me, there is something wonderfully poetic about the fact that despite the fact that even if convicted, he's not going to go to prison, the first person to actually criminally prosecute Donald Trump is a black Harvard grad. He's prosecuting.
People can be stupid. Ride the train correctly.
Yep. Just go into the train, sit your ass down, and don't cause any problems. Thanks for the donation, James.
You, Donald, and a black woman is doing that same exact thing in Georgia, and a black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine. Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle. And for me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen. Go DEI. My DEIs are bringing it home on today.
That's what you call gaslighting. Yeah, you say, bring her picture back up. Look at this. Look at her face. She's trying to be white. Got blonde hair. And see the makeup around her eyes and her face? That's not even her skin color. If you wash all that off, this woman...
Are white girls trying to be black because they wear dark makeup?
Get a load of this, you son of a bitch, you.
Let me see. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Those are some really sweet meows.
I'm gay.
Well, that's good to know, Going Anders. Thanks for that donation, dude. Oh, poor kitty. He's meowing. That's amazing.
White girls stand naturally, and plenty of other races like Italians, Latinos and others have darker skin, you monkey.
That is true. Thanks. Thanks for that donation, Kid Boo. Wow, that's a really sweet cat. Thanks for that donation, Oat Goat.
There you go with that term again. No, she's really dark. No shit. What you trying to say? She hates being black? Yeah, look at pull it up. Look at that. Wearing shades of makeup.
Okay, this video's fucking stupid.
You know anything about pot?
Let's see.
Finally meet you.
Yeah.
J-Cure, we did it. Under immense political pressure on Speaker Johnson,
Well, thank you for that, 9014. Excellent spam as always. Appreciate the donation, dude.
he finally scheduled a simple up or down votes. Military aid for Ukraine passed in the House of Representatives on Saturday. And here was the final votes. 311 in favor, 112 against. No House Democrats voted against.
You look like alpha male strategies.
I don't, but thanks for the donation going, Anders.
Against it. This is 73% of U.S. representatives in favor of supporting Ukraine militarily. This is a supermajority, and it's consistent with American polling. When you poll Americans, do you support military aid to Ukraine? It's consistently over 60%. So if you didn't see the moment live on C-SPAN, let me play for you this clip.
Mike Donatello's this man just achieved the American dream.
I don't have any bills now. I bought this little shed for $8,000. I made it into a house. Check out the inside. It's not finished just yet. The house is completely off grid, so electricity comes only from these solar panels. But now I have no electric bill. Here's the batteries that run the house. But I'm in the sticks, and no water lines run this far out. So I have this big water tank. It gets rainwater from my roof. Now I have no bills. The electric's free, the water's free, and my house is paid for.
I don't know if I'd call that the American dream, but seems to have done well for himself. Thanks for that donation, Mike.
Flags and chanting Ukraine. But this is your victory. This is the victory of everyone around the world actively supporting Ukraine. If you like, comment, share, donate, fundraise, volunteer, if you called your representatives, you contributed to this moment. You contributed to this tremendous achievement in support of Ukraine. So here's Speaker Johnson going to the microphone, defending his decision to finally schedule a vote after blocking it for 6 months.
I said these are not normal times. They're not. The world is destabilized, and it's a tinderbox. It's a dangerous time. Three of our primary adversaries, Russia and Iran and China, are working together, and they're being aggressors around the globe. And they're a global threat to our prosperity and our security. Their advance threatens the free world, and it demands American leadership. If we turn our backs right now, the consequences could be devastating.
1 cup of cum. A cup of sugar. Mix. Drink. 2 cups of cum. A piece of poop. Half cup of warm water. Mix. Drink. 2 slices of bread. 2 spoons of cum. A cum sandwich. A pizza crust. A cup of cum. That's cum pizza. Get it now? It's cum. It's all cum. Cum cum.
All right, well, thank you for those cum recipes. Appreciate the donation, free cum recipes.
So this afternoon, the House acted, and we sent over to the Senate, and it will be transmitted shortly, our supplemental national security legislation. And make no mistake, This is not a blank check like the Senate supplemental bill was. This is very different. Instead of taking the path of least resistance and bringing up the Senate supplemental on the House floor, or just allowing a discharge petition to pursue, which come forward, which would have had the same outcome, we gave our members a voice. We gave them a chance. We gave them a better process and ultimately a much better policy.
Mike Johnson didn't flip on Russia. Mike Johnson is only loyal to one person. Donald Trump flipped on Russia, at least for the next 6 months. Of course, Donald Trump is going to whine and complain and obviously lie. His tweet got community noted for his lies. But he does say in this tweet, Ukrainian survival and strength should be much more important to Europe than to us. But it is also important to us. Get moving, Europe. Donald Trump didn't want to talk about Ukraine anymore. After 6 months of television interviews,
Kelia, I don't need to tell her, is it me or is it annoying as fuck when I walk into a store and a cashier or store worker comes up to me, tries to talk to me and ask me what I'm looking for? I always tell them to fuck off and leave me alone. Well, they probably get paid on commission or they're just bored, so whatever, just say you don't need help. That's what I do. Thanks for that donation, Kelia.
and reporters asking him, why don't you support Ukraine? Why don't you oppose Russia? This is politically a losing issue for Donald Trump, and he knows it. So Donald Trump finally caved, and he told every Republican in Congress, if you want to vote for this, you can do so, and I won't punish you. I won't attack you for voting in favor of military aid for Ukraine. And this is what I've been doing on social media the last 6 months. I'm the one who's been photoshopping this stupid thumbs up picture of Donald Trump and Mike Johnson in front of hospitals and talk about Ukraine. He doesn't want to talk about foreign policy. He doesn't want to talk about Russia. Trump wants to talk about domestic issues to beat Biden in November. He wants to talk about...
If Elon Musk were to go vegan, would he be morally obligated to promote it? No. Would a person that influential keeping their vegan status secret make them complicit? Like, I guess you could argue they're being complicit to some degree, but I don't think anybody has a moral duty to do good. They just have a moral duty not to violate anybody's rights.
Wokeism, the border, inflation, high interest rates. So Donald Trump told Johnson he could do this. And Johnson's just doing whatever Donald Trump basically wants. So this is going to pass. There's really no opposition in the Senate. Here's the Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer confirming that the Senate will stay in session this week. The first procedural vote to get closure will be on Tuesday. I don't see a Republican filibuster happening. I don't see 40 Senate Republicans coming together to block this legislation. The Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell supports this bill. He posted a picture 2 days ago with him meeting with the Ukrainian Prime Minister. And here's South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham.
Can't believe that this hot, busty, vegan Jew was behind the voices for many of my childhood characters growing up, lol.
Actor. Internet? Internet? I'm a voice actor. If I don't hand in the letter in time, I'll be tardy. If I don't turn in the letter on time, I'll be tardy. I'm a voice actor. I knew it. You're nothing but a lightweight loser. I knew
Interesting. I didn't know she voiced Harley Quinn.
it. You're nothing but a lightweight loser. I'm a voice actor. It's hero time. It's hero time. I'm a voice actor. Azarath, Metreon, Zinthos. Azarath,
That's cool. She did Raven, too.
Metreon, Zinthos. I'm a voice actor.
Is this true?
Let me see.
If you eat any of these foods on this list, you are white. No black person is eating these things. If you're black eating these things, go and give me your N-word pass. Get your ass off that block. Go ahead and pick you up a Bud Light and a fishing rod. Let's go. First, we got kale, bruh. Just being honest, most black people will look at this shit and say this is some motherfucking lettuce. They use this for broccoli. I'm just being real. What type of freaky ass lettuce is this? Why it's hard? Look at it. It's pointing up. Next, we got tofu burger, bro. What the fuck? I'll be honest, this motherfucker look good like this, but don't be fooled. I'm not biting into no fucking tofu burger. Where they do that at? Next, we got types of casseroles. Now,
Yeah, isn't like the RZA vegan?
on Thanksgiving, we be going crazy on casserole. But if your mama is cooking casserole once a week, once a month, the fuck, how many more casseroles is it? She got 12 different...
Yeah, pretty sure he's wrong.
Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm a voice actor. I still say we call it sassafras. I still say we call it sassafras. I'm a voice actor. God, what's wrong with the way I talk? God, what's wrong with the way I talk? I'm a voice actor.
That's pretty cool. Didn't know she did so many voices.
I'm a voice actor. I love you. I love you. I'm a voice actor. Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theater. Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theater. I'm a voice actor. The time is right, it's day, not night. The time is right, it's day, not night. I'm a voice actor. You're not gonna cry now, are you? You're not gonna cry now, are you? I'm a voice actor. Poopies! Pooping! I'm a voice actor. I love you.
Well, interesting. Thanks, Ben.
My co-worker had to take time off because he spilled boiling water on his dick. So, I have to pick up his work. It sucks, but I keep reminding myself that it could be worse. At least I don't have a boiled dick. Hope all is well, VG. Shalom.
Well, that's pretty good, I guess. At least you don't have a boiled dick. Could be that guy. Thanks for that donation, Masashi Blade. Mike donated $2. Thoughts on Mazdas and Ford? Are there any American car brands you'd consider good, or are they all just garbage in your opinion? GM used to be good. They still make some good trucks, but not so much anymore. GM owns Corvette now, right? Corvettes are still good. Let's see, Dodge. They make some good cars. And some Fords are good. A lot of them are pure garbage, though. So it depends. Mazdas are good. Like, the Miata's fucking... That's a really good car. The Miatas have always been good. The RX-7 is pretty fucking dope still. The rotary engine. Apparently they're making a new rotary engine car, so... Yeah, Mazdas are cool. Thanks for that donation, Mike.
Speed draw 3D PP. 90 seconds mask. Make it look thick and meaty, deep and dimensional.
Okay, I'll try to do that for you, Space Camp. Thanks for the donation, dude. Okay, 3D PP. Let's see. Actually, fuck, it's probably a little too short. I don't know what I was thinking. That's very square. There you go. There is a 3D penis for you. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for the donation, Space Camp.
What are pro-Palestinians going to do after Israel destroys Hamas and then just leaves? Won't they have to admit that it was never a genocide since they stopped once the threat was gone? I don't get it.
They're gonna whine and cry and say Israel's evil, and then they're gonna say they stopped because of international pressure and all the, protests, and that's the only reason why they didn't kill more innocent civilians. Probably what they're gonna do. Thanks for the donation, Gene Quavius.
Appearing on all the Sunday morning talk shows to push this bill in the Senate. Let me play a little bit of this clip.
This idea, give up on Ukraine makes the world safer. If you pull the plug on Ukraine because you don't have enough capability, there goes Taiwan. The Ukrainians are fighting like tigers. This aid package has a loan component to it. This would not have passed without Donald Trump. I want to thank the House Speaker and Hakeem Jeffries working together in a bipartisan fashion to give weapons to Ukraine to fight a fight that matters to us. And President Trump has created a loan component to this package that gives us leverage down the road. So that
President Trump, in this package, created a loan component that will give the United States leverage over Ukraine later. I don't like that language. I don't like that thought, but whatever, we need to move on. 2 months ago in February, Lindsey Graham voted against the Senate aid package to Ukraine, and now he's the biggest supporter of this House version. So I'm convinced there won't be any amendments allowed. The Senate's just not going to vote for him, so we don't have to kick it back to the House for another vote. The Senate is just going to rubber stamp what the House sent them. Here is Virginia Senator Mark Warner. In 2 years, Ukraine, with less than 3% of what the United States spends on its own military, we've effectively eliminated 87% of Russia's pre-existing ground forces, 63% of their tank capacity, 32% of their armored personnel carriers, all without endangering a single American soldier or NATO soldier. This tweet isn't accurate. It's Ukraine who has done all this, but they've achieved a lot of this with the help from the United States sending weapons. All the Ukrainians are asking for is to give them the materials they need. They already have the courageous soldiers on the ground fighting for their lives, and they can beat the Russians. Here's the tweets. This is Alexander Sherba. He is with Ukraine's Foreign Affairs Ministry, and he said that a Ukrainian soldier texted him in a trench in the Donbass region. Ukrainian soldiers were watching this House vote live on their phones, watching C-SPAN, and it was, you could hear it, the cheering from the trenches, knowing that they're going to get more weapons soon. Here's the tweet from President Zelensky. I'm grateful to
America, you hurrah, 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 you I am gonna come, I'm gonna come, came.
Well, I gotta get a Chevrolet. Thanks for the donation, Oatgoat.
Cheat meals are like post but clarity. It feels pretty good in the moment, but afterwards you completely regret it. I've noticed I've been dieting for a while, but I developed a poor relationship with food. I diet and binge over and over again.
Yeah, you should avoid having those sorts of patterns and just choose a more sustainable diet. Not just be so focused on losing weight as quickly as you can. If that's an issue for you. Thanks for the donation, though, Sengoku.
Dick or no dick? Greg says no dick, but you know more about dick, so tell us your dick pic real quick.
That's the first thing you could think of when she walked out onto the platform. No, not how great she looks, how strong her muscles are, how lean she is, the work, the years she put into her craft, the fact that she can lift well over 200 pounds above her head. No, it's what kind of a bulge is she packing and why.
Yeah, that's probably just the way her leotard wraps around her body. Like, that's it.
No, not how great she looks, how strong.
Jesus, this is fucking retarded.
It has to be because she's attractive. She has long hair and people are sexualizing her because she's attractive. But no.
Yeah, it's just her fucking leotard, dude.
Oh, lo and behold, the comments, people, and so that's why the downstairs looks like it does. I did not even look down there. I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all are. Not their crotch, it's their face. All that work and incredible effort just for men to focus on her private areas, of course. If these men don't learn what a pad is, I'm moving out. Is that a pelvic bone or is she packing? That's what happens when you put things in your body that don't need to be there. And so what exactly can't you be putting in your body? Well, there's a syringy face, and so clearly they're talking about performance. How do you know it's not a pee pad or perhaps it's diapers? Sometimes you see powerlifters, oftentimes it's females, and they go on the platform and they're peeing on the floor. And so that she has to wear
Yeah, I would have just assumed it's just the leotard, like, curling in a weird way around her crotch, but yeah, it's pretty retarded. I'd say no dick.
Rich, if Nick Fuentes went vegan, would you forgive the anti-Semitism/racism?
No, I'd still want him dead. Thanks for the donation, CLJ.
To the United States House of Representatives, both parties, and personally Speaker Mike Johnson, for the decision that keeps history on the right track. Democracy and freedom will always have global significance, and it will never fail, as long as America helps to protect it. The vital U.S. aid bill passed today by the House will keep the war from expanding, save thousands and thousands of lives, and help both our nations to become stronger. Just peace and security can only be attained through strength. We hope that the bills will be supported in the Senate and sent to the President's desk. Thank you, America. So this is a double compounding effect. Not only is this a huge morale boost to people who support Ukraine, but this is a morale defeat for people who support Russia. For everyone calling in to their representatives, telling them to support this aid package, there was still a smaller number of Americans calling into the representatives saying, don't vote on this. Don't support this. Don't help Ukraine. They have biolabs and Nazis and
whatever that
Jewish
thing is between that girl's legs, I want it in my mouth.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. Thanks for the donation, Space Camp.
lasers or whatever. So just think about, for the people who support Russia, how do they feel in this moment? Because they were just defeated. People like Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, David Sachs, Jackson Hinkle, whoever, they just lost.
What am I drinking? I am drinking Zevia cherry-flavored soda. Ugh.
And we got to speak about the Queen. I call her Marjorie Trader Green. That's not catching on. Ken Buck, a Republican, called her Moscow Marge, and this is now what the media is calling her. You can see her on C-SPAN during the votes, acting like a 12-year-old, booing and jeering and thumbs downing the Democratic side of the aisle. So it's very possible I won't show a clip of Marjorie for the next forever, hopefully. So we got one more for you guys. One more clip of everyone's favorite MAGA member.
But this is the sellout of America today. When we have members of Congress in there waving the Ukrainian flag on the United States House of Representatives floor, while we're doing nothing to secure our border, I think every American in this country should be furious. Who's going to vote for these people? How can you vote for these people? They don't serve our country.
This woman is so dumb, I don't know how she remembers to breathe. So here's the quote from the Pentagon. Within days, Pentagon set to quickly send Ukraine arms after U.S. Congress approval. Here is a spokesperson for the DoD, Pat Ryder, and this is what he has to say about Congress passing this bill.
As you know, we have a very robust logistics network that enables us to move material very quickly, as we've done.
Tommy, you donated $2. Let me see. I don't think I can watch this on screen. Watch how Israeli soldiers shoot a handcuffed, blindfolded, and unarmed Palestinian. That is one of the most heavily edited videos I think I've ever fucking seen. Maybe it's... I don't understand. That looks like a cut to me. That doesn't look like the cameraman was just moving. Is that even fucking Israel? Bro, this looks like the cartel. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. How do I know... How do we know this is the IDF doing this? And I'd need to see some context for the video. Let me see. IDF uniform... These uniforms don't look quite right to me. I don't think that was the IDF. I think that's like a weird cartel video or something. What's the original source? Yeah, I don't even... Show me the original source, and then maybe I'd buy it. Thanks for the donation, dude.
In the past, we can move within days. Again, for operation security reasons, I'm not going to be able to get into the specifics of what that security assistance package could look like.
Well, I don't see any patches.
Other than to say it would, of course, include like the important things.
React to this.
Let me see.
This is political persecution. This is a persecution like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And again, it's a case that should have never been brought. It's an assault on America. And that's why I'm very proud to be here. This is an assault on our country. And it's a country that's failing.
Don't be fooled by the energetic Trump that you see in that video on the first day of the hush money payments trial in New York. Later during the trial, he actually fell asleep. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, some details about the hush money trial, of course, taking place in Manhattan. The case was brought forth by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg over payments that Trump made to keep Stormy Daniels and two others silent through the 2016 presidential election. Now, there was money involved, and what...
Thanks for the gifted membership, Carrie. Appreciate it.
Trump is facing in terms of charges is a little complicated because it's not about him directly making hush money payments. It's about him falsifying documents in order to cover the hush money payments, which, by the way, Michael Cohen has already gone.
I like to bake a couple brick of marinated tofu in the morning and eat that all day. But I'm probably deficient in something. What's like a minimalist grouping of vegetables I can add in to get a well-rounded nutrient profile? Assume I eat rice 2x weekly.
Just add in some broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Those go pretty well together. But yeah, just roast some broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and that's, you know, fine. Thanks for the donation, Space Camp. Appreciate the donation.
In a prison for, and that was Trump's former fix-it attorney, personal attorney. Now, the allegations are that Trump falsified those documents in order to cover up the scandal with Stormy Daniels and others. According to the New York Times, Trump is facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, and if convicted, he could spend 4 years in prison. In addition to the payment to Daniels, Bragg's office is expected to highlight 2 other deals involving the National Enquirer, a tabloid that has a long-standing relationship with Donald Trump. So Karen McDougal, a former Playboy model, was paid $150,000 by the National Enquirer's parent company, American Media Inc., for the rights to her story. AMI promptly did nothing with the story. It's a process known as catch and kill. So they basically bought her story to ensure that it would never be published anywhere. In one deal, the tabloid also bought the silence of a man who had heard that Trump fathered a child out of wedlock, but that was a rumor that turned out to be false. AMI also paid to catch and kill a former Trump Tower doorman story, alleging that Trump had an unacknowledged child, but that allegation.
This is great. Now he can finally rot in jail for the rest of his worthless path tech life already, Ari.
Yeah, it can't happen soon enough. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Has never been corroborated by any reporting. Trump's friend David Pecker, who was then CEO of AMI, okayed the payments. And in regard to the Stormy Daniels situation, so that was where Michael Cohen actually ended up going to prison for making the hush money payment on behalf of Donald Trump. He even mortgaged his home in order to do it. And then he wanted to be reimbursed from Donald Trump, right? So there was a lot of pressure for Trump to do so. He did. There is some evidence with Trump's signature on a check. So we'll get to those details in just a moment. But Stormy Daniels was paid $130,000 by Michael Cohen to sign a non-disclosure agreement about her encounters with Trump. Cohen obtained a line of.
Come on, he's the president. I'll definitely be in the middle.
Look,
Well, Trump's gonna lose this case. And it's also super inconvenient for him. He has to show up every day at trial.
Zamir walked out of the Toronto courthouse into the cool spring air, a free man, full of relief.
I never meant any of this to happen. I am sorry for what had happened.
Zamir and his family burst into tears after a jury found him not guilty of all criminal charges, including first-degree murder in the death of Toronto police officer Jeffrey Northrup, bringing to a close a nightmarish 3 years.
I and Ida made a wrong decision when we thought we should go to Canada. But I think today I see that Canada didn't let injustice to happen.
Rewind to Canada Day weekend nearly 3 years ago. After celebrating, Zamir, his pregnant wife and 2-year-old son passed by a man who had been stabbed as they returned to their car in the dimly lit parking lot below Toronto City Hall. Once inside, 2 people approached their vehicles, banging on the windows. It was Northrup and his partner, both dressed in plain clothes, investigating the stabbing. Zamir testified neither identified themselves as police, that he feared they were criminals.
This case will mark a teachable moment for many police agencies, for many Canadians, about how we want police to act, how they should act.
Wow, so they didn't identify themselves as police officers. They were banging on his fucking car windows, and they're surprised. The guy, like, I am assuming ran him over or something.
Especially when they're in plain clothes.
This is the driver. Okay. He's under arrest right now. Zamir reversed and accelerated toward the exit, knocking Northrup down. Experts from both sides testified. They also told the court Northrup was already on the ground when he was run over. But 3 police officers testified he was standing with his hands up. The judge was critical of what.
Great. What last words do you think will Trump say before he goes down the river will be?
He'll probably just talk about how the system's corrupt and it was a corrupt judge and he's gonna appeal and he's gonna win the appeal or something like that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
She called the Crown's morphing narrative and, after the verdict, apologized to Zamir for what he's been through.
Thankfully, the jury saw the case for what it was, a tragedy, an outright tragedy, but not a criminal offense.
For Northrup's family and the Toronto police, more questions, more heartache.
I'm very disappointed in today's outcome. From day one, all I've wanted is accountability. We miss Jeff every day.
I share the feelings of our members.
Yeah, so the police are fucking stupid. They harassed a guy who had nothing to do with the crime while they were in plain clothes, never identified themselves as police officers, and they freaked the dude out when they could have just easily, de-escalated the situation, identified themselves as police, yeah.
Members who were hoping for a different outcome.
While exactly what happened in that garage may never be known, what is certain is a man was killed and lives changed forever. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, that is stupid.
It's like air defense and artillery capabilities.
So the rumor is stuff is already in Poland. The second President Biden signs the bill, stuff's going to move across the border immediately. So Ukraine needs a lot of stuff. They need cluster munitions, artillery rounds, air defense missiles, Gimlers, HIMARS ammunition. They're getting ATACMS. F-16s are coming in a couple months, but there's a lot we can do to shape the battlefield and turn the tide immediately. Within a week, we're going to feel a difference. I also want to make the point that even though MAGA blocked this vote and this aid for 6 or 7 months, the United States never stopped producing artillery shells or Gimlers rounds, HIMARS ammunition. What we can give Ukraine is limited by what our factories in Texas and Pennsylvania can produce. But they've still been working. They've still been producing. So there's going to be a huge delivery of a backlog of production from the last 6 months that the United States can now give to Ukraine in a very short period of time. But $60 billion in military aid, it's not possible for your brain to comprehend how much material this actually is, being shipped from the United States to Europe and then dragged across the border to make sure it gets to the front lines. There was also additional provisions in this catch-all fourth bill that are pretty interesting. U.S. Congress paves the way for the confiscation of frozen Russian assets. The U.S. Congress just became the first among the G7 countries to adopt legislation to confiscate Russian assets. So this act, the Repo Act, specifically targets $6 billion in Russian frozen assets currently held in U.S. banks. If the Senate passes this and Biden signs it, the U.S. government's going to try and take this Russian money and give it to Ukraine. There will be a court challenge. The banks are going to fight this, but if it holds up in courts under this new Repo Act, this will set a precedent and it'll make it easier in the future to confiscate Russian money and redirect it to Ukraine. I also just want to quick mention, TikTok probably will be banned in the United States.
Out of all of the races of human beings, which one would you say most closely resembles monkeys?
Probably pygmies, because they're so small. Thanks for the donation, Adolf Schittler.
People have various opinions on this. I should probably make a dedicated video talking about it. But basically, TikTok has to separate itself from its Chinese company, ByteDance. Let Amazon buy it, or Microsoft buy it, or a European company buy it. But based on my research, yes, the Chinese Communist government does influence the algorithm of TikTok, deciding what people see and they don't see. If you try and do a search on TikTok of Tiananmen Square or Uyghur genocide, those search results, those videos are suppressed. And the only reason why ByteDance would do that is if the Chinese government told them to. So I don't feel comfortable with TikTok knowing that the algorithm is being manipulated by the Chinese government. So we're going to see what's going to happen with TikTok over the next year. Also in this bill, there are additional sanctions that will be placed on Russia, Iran, and China. I don't have the details on those, but I'm in favor of them. So I know potentially at home you're feeling what I feel. It feels like a huge rock has just been lifted off your chest, knowing that these guys on the front lines are going to start getting the ammunition.
What's the high level on why Ukraine and Russia are fighting, and how does this shit in Israel relate? Not asking what the media lines are. What's your take on what's really going on?
Russia's just being led by a retarded dictator. Ukraine has money, and Russia just wants to take over Ukraine for money. That's basically it. And the war in Israel has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine. Thanks for that donation, Space Camp.
Ammunition they need to defend themselves and fight back against Russian aggression. And we don't have Kremlin State TV's response yet because it's the weekend. I'm sure on their Monday broadcast they'll have a lot to say. But this clip is from last week, and the Russians were already admitting they're in trouble. This is from Russian Media Monitor. Pundits admit Russia is struggling. I want to read a little bit of this clip for you. In this situation, we also have a lot of unnecessary boasting. Listen, we understand that we are in a difficult situation. We know and understand that we have many problems. Our people know it too. Our people see everything. We shouldn't pretend that it isn't happening. We should talk more about our problems instead of constantly boasting and deluding ourselves. It's starting to look like the late USSR. These are the associations that I'm getting. I remember all of it. Everything that was on TV screens versus the reality. That's what birthed the crisis. What Dmitry said is very correct. I think we should pay attention to this. We should tell the truth. We should also tell the truth to the president. Such as it is, whether we like it or not, this is the key to our victory, and we have to win. No, I don't see the Russians finally starting to tell the truth on Kremlin State TV. That would just make the panic amongst the general population worse, given the domestic problems, the cascading utility failures last winter that are going to happen again this winter, the extreme flooding and the failure of infrastructure such as dams because of melting snow. It's only going to be worse next year. The Russian government is never going to be able to take care of their own people while simultaneously fighting this war of aggression, this war of conquest. And things are only going to get worse for the Russians on the battlefield. If you remember earlier this year, Ukraine had a lot of success moving a Patriot system around, shooting down Russian planes. Ukraine ran out of air defense missiles, so they couldn't do that anymore. The second more air defense missiles show up, the second the United States sends another 2 or 3 Patriot batteries to Ukraine, they're coming for Russian aviation. But in the meantime, with what they have, they're still scoring victories. 2 days ago, a Tupolev Tu-22 was shot down by a Russian S-200 air defense system. Russian long-range strategic bomber crashes, Ukraine claims responsibility. This happened in the Caucasus, this is in Stavropol, and this was about 500 kilometers from Ukrainian-controlled territory. Ukraine successfully got off an S-200 missile and went over a lot of Russian airspace without it being shot down or intercepted. This is the supersonic bomber that Russia uses to launch their hypersonic weapons. This plane will speed up to Mach 2 or 3 before launching the hypersonic missile to give it more of a boost. So yes, all of these have to go. Ukraine with drones or missiles in the future, I think, will eventually get all of these planes.
Get the fuck out of my
There is a
food.
video online of a local Russian who captured the crash. If you want to see it for yourself, I'll link it down below. Major damage at a Russian airbase in Crimea after a Ukrainian attack. This occurred last week, but we finally got the satellite images to confirm it. So this was the picture on the ground and looks pretty bad, but we couldn't really confirm what exactly was destroyed. But here's the satellite images, and you can definitely see 1, 2, 3, and 4 S-400 Russian air defense launchers. How did Ukraine get it? The Russians are saying ATACMS, but it could have been GLSDB. And these launchers were worth about $500 million. 50 drones reportedly attacked 8 regions of Russia, sparking fires and explosions at substations. Following the drone attack, multiple energy infrastructure facilities were damaged, and fires erupted and explosions at multiple sites. There are some videos at night showing what's happening. You can't really see much, but a lot of things are going boom. Ukraine didn't hit an oil refinery. It's not hit oil refineries in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but it did blow up some oil depots used by the Russian military. So let's get to the good news for Ukraine. Norway has launched a new grant program for Ukrainian nonprofits and is allocating 6 million euros to fund it. These funds will help democratic reforms, strengthening the rule of law, and helping Ukraine with its future integration with the European Union. Thank you so much to the people of Norway. Slovakia doesn't have a friendly government to Ukraine at the moment. The new leader is a guy named Fico. But the people of Slovakia still support Ukraine. And Slovak citizens have crowdfunded over 2.6 million euros to contribute to the Czech initiative to buy artillery rounds for Ukraine. Thank you so much to the wonderful people of Slovakia. The Netherlands has allocated another 200 million euros to new initiatives to allow for the quick Ukraines and based in Ukraine, Zarina's.
Well, that is all good news.
Remember that video
Frank Tufano.
we watched about like 4 or 5 days ago about how a guy nearly got into an accident because the pedal cover for the gas on his Cybertruck slipped off and slid forward and got wedged underneath the molding near the feet?
That pedal looks different, right? It's missing this. This wedged itself right there. And as you can see, based on the design of the floorboard, this sliding up, and the way this was still hooked onto the pedal, it held the accelerator down 100%, full throttle.
This has led to a total Cybertruck recall the pedal cover from sliding off. And what they're apparently doing is adding a rivet. a technology invented only, sometime around the death of Christ. A goddamn rivet. Here's a picture of the temporary rivet fix. Temporary? Oh, no, never mind. I saw this being flexed as something they were doing. That explains why it's off-center. Okay, so what are they doing with Cybertruck? It's very good and high IQ of Elon to promote the Cybertruck, the world's first DIY car, I don't think we know yet then what the actual finished fix will be. So apparently what they're blaming this on is soap. The problem, as Tesla reported to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, originated on the production lines with soap. An unapproved change introduced lubricant, soap, to aid in the component assembly. So this is a lie. The problem is that the plastic foot pedal cover just snaps on top of the metal pedal with nothing physical holding it in place. Like, the only thing holding it there is the fact that it has, like, a plastic snap over. So they're just lying, Also, this recall has allowed us to see the total number of Cybertrucks actually issued. And I can't believe it, guys. It's like half the number of people watching right now. A little more than half. 3,878. That's it. All this time, energy, and effort, all of this advertising, all of that production time, all the money spent on advertising on Tesla, they have sold less than 4,000 Cybertrucks. And that's not because there aren't people who don't want to buy it. That's because they can't make them fast enough. They're making them at a snail's pace because everything is terribly managed there, it seems. It really is that bad. How much money is Tesla losing on this? We don't know. At least, not yet. Remember, highest valued car company out there. Well, this is the past month. So that's cool. Man. Just over the past 5 days.
Jesus.
It's gone from 170 to 147. If we go back a year... Oh, here, we'll just go to max then. Yeah, the highest point was here over in 2021. It looks like we're reaching a new low. 147.05. Not as low as this point right here. What happened right here at this nadir at the end of 2022? What happened over here? I think I asked this before. Twitter? Was it Elon buying Twitter? I don't know. I know for a fact most Tesla owners will ignore this recall because the NHTSA uses the term recall anytime Tesla has to issue a software patch, so Tesla users now ignore everything. Ooh. That's probably not good. The finger-pinching trucks. I assume that this is a link to the video that guy...
This video that if he had placed it further up by that corner, it would have done real damage to his fingers or even lost a finger. Why Tesla...
Neat. It has a set end point.
Here with Dr. Matthew Nagra, and we're going to be responding to Shawn Baker's response to his response to Shawn Baker's debate he had with Garth Davis recently on the same carnivore YouTube channel, which Dr. Matthew Nagra had with Anthony Chafee. So it's a 7-minute video and there was a lot to cover, so we're going to get right into it. And just a fair warning, there will be a lot of pausing just because there's a lot of things to cover. And Nagra, you have anything to say before we get right into it?
Nope, I think we're good to go.
Alrighty, sounds good. All right, guys, let's get into it.
All right, here's a little video of a guy named Dr. Nagra, something like that. Apparently he debated Dr. Chafee a while ago, and he had a little critique of my recent quote-unquote discussion, debate, whatever you want to call it, with Dr. Garth Brooks. And here's what he has to say.
Debate between vegan doctor Garth Davis and carnivore doctor Shawn Baker.
I don't know. I will say I don't know if my diet is going to make somebody live longer. I don't know if it's going to either prevent or increase the likelihood of some disease because we just don't have the data that shows that.
As one of the biggest proponents of a carnivore diet, Shawn clearly states that he actually doesn't know if this is going to lead to good or poor health outcomes in the long term. I would argue that it's likely to increase risk of colorectal cancer and cardiovascular disease compared to many diets out there just based on prior research on red meat. But what I really want to focus on here is that he still recommends it despite not even knowing if it'll be healthy in the long term. And he continuously puts out information like this and this and this and this. I can keep going. Okay, I'll stop after this.
So I'm just gonna pause this here because notice this tweet here. We're gonna be focusing on it a bit throughout this response, only because Shawn Baker at certain points speaks later in the video about how a lot of his social media is for entertainment. He even makes it sound like it's all for entertainment. And we have claims like this where he says in capital letters, red meat does not cause heart disease. And then we have a link to a study.
Yeah, and it's the NutraRex papers, which, I mean, you can link Avi's long debunk of that if anyone wants to watch it, but it's also observational research. So keep that in mind as well. He's citing that to suggest that red meat does not cause heart disease. All caps, very direct in that statement. I don't know how you can misinterpret that.
Yeah, and the reason why Nagra is pointing out that it's observational is because on many occasions, Shawn Baker has said that epidemiological research is not science in his view, it's garbage. So there's just a lot of confusion here. And as you'll see in this video again, he's going to talk about how all this is for entertainment purposes, but how else are we supposed to interpret something like this, especially his followers who look at him as an authority figure and take his word for it. You know, we all know that influencers have some kind of influence, quite literally, on their fans. So I don't know who saw this tweet, who's a big fan of his and was like, ha ha ha, so funny, so funny. I'm not going to take this as like an actual accurate causal claim. Yeah, let's just keep going.
This one. So he puts this out on social media, presumably to suggest that a carnivore diet may be healthy, or at the very least that red meat isn't unhealthy. But later in the debate suggests that his social media is just for entertainment.
It's one of your more recent videos here, and you don't need to go into like a full thing.
I'll just put the caveat,
but I am
the
curious.
social media is kind of for entertainment purposes only in many ways, you know, I mean, but anyway, what am I saying here? I don't know.
But my big issue with that is that there's no way he doesn't know that people are going to take what he says and actually implement it into their lifestyle. So this is a message to those who follow him and actually incorporate the information he provides into their lifestyle. He clearly states that he doesn't know if this will be healthy long term, and it may actually be very unhealthy despite what he says on social media. And you can bet that he will not be held accountable if you follow his advice and end up suffering a heart attack.
Okay, my response
Can we pause that for a sec?
Yeah.
One thing I just want to mention is that I had people, probably because they saw Shawn's video here, they came over to my pages and were like, well, you deceptively edited it, or you took stuff out of context. Actually, if you include more context around those claims, it becomes even more clear that the way I was interpreting it is likely correct, at least based on how he meant it in that instance. In fact, I asked, well, I wouldn't say every single one because I kind of stopped looking at comments after a while, but for those first 24 hours or so, I asked every single one of these people, can you point out what I left out? Direct quotes, be specific. And I didn't have a single person actually provide that. So I just want to be clear, like that was not taken out of context. And I know, Danny, I shared some clips with you earlier today that just like add further context to what he was saying, and it's pretty darn clear.
Yeah, and hopefully you aren't given the same criticism with this video because we're going through his entire response. So, although I suspect we still may, who knows.
First thing he says that I said I don't know the long-term outturn of a carnivore diet, which is true. I don't think anyone does. But I mean, I think I could extend that to really any diet out there, and it is the absolute height of arrogance.
Wait, can you pause that again?
Yep.
Yeah. So he says that I said he doesn't know the effects of a long-term, or the long-term effects of a carnivore diet, and then says that's true, and says nobody knows. So I just want to also make clear that what I said again is presumably a correct interpretation of what he said. Now he's going to change sort of the context here a little bit, and we'll get into.
It's a really good freeze frame.
I have some issues with that, but you can go ahead and play it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Say that
If you have a sweet tooth, recommend a vegan bacon maple donut. Not really into maple donuts. I'm more of just a plain vanilla guy. Mike donated $2. Send this to all trad conservatives.
Do not listen to people who tell you to have kids because you'll figure it out. This person listened to the advice and now they have kids and no money. They can't afford parental leave. Some people can't even afford food. The government tells you it costs approximately $350,000 to raise a kid until the age of 17. Even if they're lying and it only costs you $250,000. That's like buying 2 Ferraris.
Dude, that is so much fucking money. That is crazy. That is just absurd amounts of money.
On an 18-year plan. You don't just go into that thinking, I'll figure it out. Cause you won't. Get your money shit in order before you have kids. Because you're not being a good parent if your kids are starving and you have no time to spend with them cause you're always working. Good luck. Take care. Do not.
Yeah, absolutely based, dude. Thanks for the donation, Mike.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, what something will happen down the road in all populations and all situations. Again, I repeatedly make the point
Okay, pause it. So he brings this up a lot. He tries to paint this picture as though I'm saying I know with absolute certainty the outcome of a given diet or dietary practice in all situations all the time. I've never claimed that. I'm actually pretty measured in a lot of the claims that I make. The terminology, the statistics I present, I won't say something will lead to X outcome. I'll say, there's a 17% increased risk of X outcome or something like that. I also
So, remember that priest in Australia that was stabbed by that Islamic jihadist terrorist? Well, check out the insane projection, confession, and gaslighting he partakes in against scientists.
Let me see. Well, he was the guy in Australia who was like protesting against the vaccines, right?
Of all, evolution comes from someone who was a member of the Round Table.
What can you tell that?
Someone, without going into too much details, those who know what the Round Table is and where it came from, they will see someone who was a non-believer in God, an atheist who was deliberately trying their hardest to brainwash people and take humanity away from the concept of this divine God who is the reason for the existence of this universe and life in general. So that's one. Secondly, let's say everything came into existence because something exploded over 13 billion years ago. I just wonder who was present 13 billion years ago. Was it that scientist or his uncle or his grandpa? In the scientific field, if it's a theory, I'm not obligated to accept it and believe in it, therefore don't force it on me. It's a theory. So even the one who wrote it, he said, I think it's this. Well, you think, I don't have to accept.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is like, I don't even really see this much from Christian and Muslim apologists these days because, like, they've learned from just debating atheists forever now that these are stupid arguments. But, like, this guy's a boomer, so he's probably not been online. Thanks for the donation, though, Ben.
Typically present the background information, like the demographic, for example, in a given study, what factors were adjusted for to provide context to those findings. So this actually goes to show that Shawn actually is not familiar with the content I put out, and he's sort of painting me as the absolutist one here, and the one that lacks nuance, when, if anything, I'd suggest the reverse is probably more true. And also, he's kind of switched from the idea that we don't know the long-term outcomes of a carnivore diet to we don't know in all situations, and so on. Okay, what situations do we know the long-term outcomes? That would be my question. Do you have evidence for that? And I mean, he's already said, and if you watch, again, more of the debate, he makes very clear that there is simply no good long-term evidence of a carnivore diet, period. So, yeah, I just want to really address that, and we're probably going to hammer that same point several times throughout the next several minutes here.
Yeah, just to be clear, you never claimed that you know with absolute certainty the long-term implications of every single diet in every situation ever. All you did was point out the irresponsibility of promoting something like the carnivore diet while not knowing the long-term implications of it. That doesn't in any way suggest that you know everything or have absolute knowledge about every sort of nutritional-based proposition out there, you know?
Yeah, all I'm making is an inference based on prior data. We have prior data on red meat consumption. I know we have some columns with that. We'll get into that. And we have prior research on other foods, fruits, veggies, etc. And we can make reasonable inferences on the risks of completely leaving all of that out. So that's all it is. Even in the case of some gold standard, which he's going to highlight later on, we don't know anything with absolute certainty. It would just point us in that direction. So we'll just go from here. I think we can play it and see what comes up next.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, you could respond to when he said, we don't know the long-term outcomes of any diet.
Oh, yeah,
you want,
I should. Let me talk about that. So I don't know what he calls long-term. Later on, he talks about 50-year randomized controlled trials, which is ridiculous. Again, we'll touch more on that when he brings it up. But we have like nearly 3-decade-long follow-up from some cohorts on like red meat consumption, say the Nurses' Health Study and Health Professionals Follow-Up Study. And that's where they've continuously evaluated dietary intake throughout. So it's not like they just assess dietary intake in the beginning and then follow people. It's like, no, you know whether or not they're changing their intake along the way or if they've been pretty consistent with it. We also have dietary quality measures in that cohort for a similar length of time, like the plant-based diet index. We have long-term randomized controlled trials, and by long-term, I mean 5 years or so roughly. It's a little bit less, a little bit more. Not a ton of them because they're really difficult to conduct and very expensive. extensive, but we have some. And then we have data on every stage of life. We have data on dietary patterns and pregnancy outcomes. We have data on dietary patterns and the risk of, say, frailty in the elderly and everywhere in between. So you can put that together to, again, make pretty reasonable inferences about cause and effect.
Yeah, and to be clear, not like I know for 1,000,000% fact that it is going to be the case. It's like when in like philosophy, when people get into like what I think someone called the skeptic sphere, where we're in the territory of like, how do I even know that my mom is conscious or that I even exist? Like that's not the level of certainty we're looking for. That's what, it's weird that he made it seem like that's what you're asking for. It's not that you want that level. You just want like some level, some reasonable level, and that's it. You know, there's no implication on your part that you have all the knowledge or like have some sort of absolute answer to the long-term effects of any diet. So I don't know why he went there with that.
A carnivore population, a population of meat-heavy eaters who do not eat junk food, that do not eat significant carbohydrates, is a very different population, and we have no way of telling what the long-term outcomes of what those patients may or may not be. Now, you can infer and try to make your best guesses based on highly confounded studies where you conflate a McDonald's eating, meat eater to a carnivore. I just don't think that's an appropriate extrapolation of the data.
There's a couple things there. So he's saying that you can't extrapolate this data to carnivores, and I would say you can't directly, but again, you can reasonably infer there's a linear dose response between red meat consumption and outcomes like cardiovascular disease, total mortality. Unless I made a video about this before, unless the risk goes up and then all of a sudden falls off a cliff for whatever reason, you can reasonably infer that there's probably risk there. Now, he talks about highly confounded studies, and he obviously talking about observational research, but that's exactly what he cited in that tweet where he says red meat does not cause heart disease, all caps. So why is he citing it in that case, unless that is presumably some kind of joke, meme content tweet? I don't know. But why would you cite that in that way if that is just highly confounded, essentially useless, based on his
And even if it was considered that type of content, do you not expect your followers to take it seriously,
Yeah, and just to talk about confounders for a second, if we look at this analysis,
they always play this game. Oh, observational research is garbage. It's bullshit. Oh, it sucks. And then when there's a study that they think supports their bias, oh, look, see, it proves it wrong. Oh, but it's an observational study. Oh, well, it's fine in this case. It just shows you how dishonest they are and how motivated their reasoning is.
That I often cite by Zong. This was published, I think, 2019. You can link it below, show it on the screen even. Yep. If you look at the adjustment models, like the amount that is considered in this is ridiculous. There's age, sex, race, educational level. Just reading off of here. As far as diet, there's total calorie intake. There's fruits, vegetables, legumes, potatoes separate from vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, refined grains, low-fat dairy, high-fat dairy, sugar-sweetened beverages, eggs. And then if they're looking at the unprocessed red meat finding, then they're adjusting for processed meat, poultry, and fish, or vice versa, depending on the specific finding. And then they also adjust for smoking, exercise, alcohol intake, hormone replacement therapy. What else is there that would have a meaningful effect that would explain the results, if not for some of those variables? Because what they're essentially doing in this adjustment model, and I'm not saying it's absolutely perfect, but they're essentially equalizing those variables, and they're trying to see what is the independent effect of the red meat. Now, they also went further, and they subgrouped by diet quality. So he talks about McDonald's eating versus, I guess, steak eating or whatever he would prefer. They subgrouped by those eating a higher or lower overall quality diet, and actually the results are most clear in those with the higher diet quality. So the risks of red meat show up most clearly in those with a higher quality diet. Why might that be? Well, if you have a low diet quality, the red meat is likely replacing something not very healthy. So maybe it is some ultra-processed foods. And also, diet's only going to have so much of an effect. It's not a panacea, as much as Shawn seems to think that I present it as. It's really not. And so once you've had a very poor quality diet, adding some red meat isn't going to do too much. But if you have a high quality diet, whether you're adding red meat or whether you're adding in sugar sweetened beverages or some other food that is generally not super healthy for us, you're going to see it show up more in that context. That doesn't mean that the high quality diet with red meat is worse than a low quality diet without red meat. It just means that all else held equal, the red meat is likely not so good for us. These are the kind of nuanced areas that it just doesn't seem that he's all that familiar with or hasn't really looked at.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm going to say this a bunch of times, that nothing you said suggests that you think this evidence is like absolute proof of anything. It's suggestive, strongly suggestive, and better than it puts you in a position to not say something like, I just don't know. You know what I mean?
Why does Shawn look like he got his degree handed to him in a barn? Yeah, Shawn is a genuinely dumb guy. Like, he's stupid. It's kind of surprising somebody that dumb could actually become a medical doctor. He did get his medical license taken away from him. But, yeah, he's stupid.
Voting something like the carnivore diet.
Exactly.
And we make assessments, good or bad, about how long a carnivore diet will last over the long term. And the point of that debate, if you listen to the full debate, I say that in the short term, we see extremely good results. And no one is out there saying that, you shouldn't go on this medication because we don't know what the long-term results might be. There's people who take proton pump inhibitors, or people take statins, or people take blood pressure medications.
Can you pause it before we get into
We have long-term data on those medications, by the way.
the medication stuff. Before we get into the medication, I just want to point out that I understand he mentioned that there, some people anecdotally experience benefits in the short term. You find that for any dietary practice, including the Twinkie diet. Look at Mark Hobb, he did that, he felt better, he lost weight, and so on. That doesn't mean that it's beneficial long term. People can see improvements in the short term on a by smoking, even as far as appetite suppression. There are certain conditions where there's actually research suggesting it can improve symptoms of things like ulcerative colitis and so on. But when you actually weigh the risks and the benefits, it's pretty it's a pretty clear picture that you probably shouldn't smoke. There are other ways to treat these issues, and so I wasn't denying that. Plus, when we go back to all the tweets of his that I showed of him making claims about nutrition, they were cardiovascular disease, they were related to life expectancy. I think there might have been one in there related to mental health. I can't remember. But generally speaking, these are long-term outcomes. We weren't looking at short-term outcomes, and this is coming from him, right? He's tweeting these things. So this idea that we should ignore all of that, the long-term stuff, even though he talks about it himself, is just, I think, a bit ridiculous. It's sort of a red herring in this case.
Yeah, and I totally understand why finding something that works for you in the short term, and by the way, we both agree that, yeah, people do probably experience short-term relief when they do something like the carnivore diet, but you can't just look at the short term to determine it's okay. Like someone with Crohn's disease like me, I can literally starve myself for like 2 or 3 days if I do like a water fast or something, and I feel a lot better. But we all know that starving yourself in the long term is a bad thing, right? Not to say that Shawn is making the claim that we have these short-term outcomes, therefore it's fine. He's not making the claim at all, but it's also important to just think of all the other things that are good in the short term that we know in the long term are not, right?
Yeah, I just don't see the point of bringing that up here, because that wasn't what we were talking about. We were clearly talking about long-term outcomes. And also, I'll just mention, in the short term, you can't verify these anecdotes. You can't control for other confounders. If you look at Carnivore Cringe on Instagram, there's a thousand negative anecdotes there. You look at even people who followed a carnivore diet long-term.
Oh, Carnivore Cringe on Instagram is fucking amazing. She got a good butt. That is a good butt. Carnivore Cringe. I was always a lean dude, gave carnivore a try, but after only 2 months I started getting fat around my breasts. Went to my GP and my estrogen levels were through the roof. And T levels in the 300. No, never doing this bullshit again. Oh, this is great. Chronic diarrhea, crystals in eyes. I think we are not warned about oxalate dumping on a carnivore diet. Over a year carnivore now and have cured many health problems, however, now have serious chronic diarrhea and skin rash, crystals in corners of eyes. Sally Norton suggests dosing on high oxalate food to slow down this detox. A bit miffed that leaders in carnivore never mention the risk. That doesn't sound like oxalate dumping. That sounds like scurvy. Yeah, especially the skin rash thing. That sounds like mild scurvy. Jared donated $2. Watch this. Now you have to. I'm not watching that. Thanks for the donation, Jared. Not interested in losers abusing animals. Neuropathy. After eating carnivore, I got vitamin B6 toxicity, neuropathy, pain in my legs, my nerves all over my body, did B6 blood tests 3 times over the top normal range. Before B6 toxicity, I felt like God. Now I can eat only processed junk food, which has almost no vitamin B6. I gain a lot of fat, feel like shit, but no neuropathy. Every time I try eat again carnivore, I end up with neuropathy that can last months. I am angry as fuck. I loved meat. I loved how I felt. Why it happened to me. These people are just fucking insane, dude.
Aladino. He actually felt better once he incorporated more carbs. Frank Tufano now denounces the carnivore diet. Carnivore Kid had a 95% blockage in his left LAD, his widowmaker artery, as it's often called. 50 Plus Beauty on YouTube suffered a stroke while on the carnivore diet. And that's not to say that the carnivore diet caused any of these issues. I'm not going to make a causal claim based on anecdotes. I'm just saying there's also reason to be skeptical. There are clearly people, at least on that diet, having negative outcomes, and those often get ignored.
Yeah, the results or this standard of evidence just goes in both directions. That's the main point being made right here. And yeah, I would totally understand why somebody would be motivated to hope and want the long-term health outcomes of a diet that brings them short-term relief to be good. But the fact is that we just don't have that. And of course, Shawn acknowledges that, but we're just trying to point out that bringing up the short term here is just like, I don't know, it's irrelevant to the criticism in the first place, which is about him not knowing the long-term implications of the carnivore diet.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think we're good to move on, but maybe rewind a tiny bit because we're kind of in the middle of the medication claim.
The point of that debate, if you listen to the full debate, I say that in the short term, we see extremely good results, and no one is out there saying that, you shouldn't go on this medication because we don't know what the long-term results might be. There's people take proton pump inhibitors, or people take statins, or people take blood pressure medications, on and on and on. There's so many medications we do. We put people on chronically for a particular reason, knowing that the long-term data is at best unknown, right? So no one has any qualms about doing that within the entire field of medicine. And to sit there and suggest that, well, because we don't have long-term 50-year trials of randomized trials on carnivore, is therefore not a reason for anyone to do it. I'm not.
So with the medications, that was honestly pretty bizarre, I think. So for starters, in order for drugs to make it to market, like let's talk about things like statins or blood pressure meds, as he brought up. They go through quite a rigorous process. You have preclinical data in, say, animal models, and this is after you have, you speculated kind of around the potential mechanisms that may work. You have preclinical data, then you have phase 1. These are small human trials. Phase 2 trials, slightly larger. Phase 3 trials, generally very large, oftentimes several thousands of people. And then you'll follow them long term, actually looking at clinical endpoints. So for something like statins, you're not just looking at does it lower cholesterol, you're looking at does it lower the risk of having a heart attack, right? So prior to this making it to market, it's been shown to reduce that clinical endpoint. And you're typically having several thousands upon thousands of people in these trials. Now, if there's some unknown side effect that shows up after very long-term chronic use, which that doesn't happen very often, or there's a side effect that's so rare that it doesn't show up in these trials with thousands upon thousands of people, then chances are the risks are a lot lower than the risk of having a heart attack, which has already been shown to prevent or help prevent, right? So in that case, yeah, it's pretty reasonable to take that to market because it's already been shown to very likely be life-saving. Now, at the same time, then you have post-market surveillance. You actually monitor these drugs for several years to track, anything that does happen to come up, way down the line several years later, or if there is something that's perhaps just very rare that you only pick up when millions of people are taking it. And actually, to say that we don't have long-term data, if he means at this point, I mean, we have decades of data on something like statins. For example, we have a 20-year follow-up on kids who were given statins because they have familial hypercholesterolemia. So this is during years of more rapid development as well, and actually shows that it reduces the progression of plaque formation. And reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease compared to their parents who did not have these medications around when they were that age, who also had familial hypercholesterolemia. We also have post-market data or post-trial data on 32,000 people who were given blood pressure meds. So this is like 23 years later, monitoring their side effects and efficacy. Like this idea that we push drugs out there without data is just insane, honestly. Like that is ridiculous.
Also, I just want to say, he said, I think I have the quote here, nobody has qualms about medication being promoted without.
Do you sleep with a fan on facing you? I do have a ceiling fan. And I usually put it on when I'm sleeping.
Long-term evidence. It's like they do. That's why the trials are done, because people are worried about the long-term effects. So it's a bit weird to bring up something like medication as a parallel to the carnivore diet, as though both don't have long-term evidence supporting them, when really one of them does. So I don't know why he thought to bring up medication.
Yeah, I found that to be one of the odder comments of the whole thing. It's very clear that we do have long-term data. And in fact, we had at least data looking at hard endpoints prior to them making them to market in the first place.
Right.
We don't have long-term 50-year trials of randomized trials on carnivore, is therefore not a reason for anyone to do it. I'm not in there suggesting that everybody in the world should do it. First of all, I'm saying in select cases, there are people that tremendously benefit from this strategy, and I will continue to maintain.
I mean, you never said that. He said that everybody should do it. I don't know. I'm not sure why he said that either.
Well, there's a couple things there. So for one, if you're saying select people benefit, so to speak, how do you determine who's going to benefit and who isn't? Or do you just put everyone on it and hope, right? Like that's a big part of the problem here. If you're claiming that some people benefit, well, how can you show that certain people are more likely to benefit than others?
And we've already talked about how all they have right now is the short-term benefits. So if you're looking at just short-term benefits to determine if it's good for them, but we're talking about long-term outcomes, I don't know how the short-term can inform on the long-term. Like, you know what I mean? Unless like a risk factor that we know
is confounded by people eating red meat out. He can find a substantial
50-year RCTs to consider them confounds or something that are caused with some certain outcome we're looking for to be caused by a different variable in some study. So it's a bit odd that seems to be his criteria for inferring causality, when we all know that there's no RCTs on 50-year RCTs on processed food, smoking, etc. But he still looks at them as something that we should recommend people don't do, which I believe he mentions at the end of this video too. So
yeah, exactly. That's why I brought it up now, but we'll get back to it.
It is the height of arrogance to say that the science is settled. To me, that is the most insane.
Yeah, you never said that. I mean, at all. Never. All you did in your, I mean, you did a lot of things in your video, but the main point you were putting forward was that it's a bit irresponsible.
But for health, the point was that he is not certain about the long term. This video I was actually serious about. It's those other videos that I was joking about. So this seems almost like he's backtracking a little bit, if I had to kind of read into it.
Right, and again, there's that tweet that I'll put on the screen right now. I don't know how we're supposed to view this as entertainment. You know what I mean?
Include all the important details. I do, because I want to understand the whole kind of
audience, and that's one thing that I do. And it's funny, sometimes it's fun. What the hell, just have some fun with this stuff. And the other thing is accountability. Am I going to be accountable for someone having a heart attack? Well, let me ask you a question. Is Dr. Nagra telling every vegan to go get bone density?
He didn't answer his own question, right? He just responded to the comment about accountability by saying, am I accountable? And then shifting it to me, rather than actually addressing that. So I just want to point that out, but we can finish what he's saying here.
That's every 5 years because we know vegan diets, or at least we think we know vegan diets, are more likely to cause fractures. I don't hear.
You want to comment on the language there?
Yeah. So notice how he said, we know that a vegan diet, and then he walked it back. And if I had to guess, again, this is just speculation, had this whole thing not been about him presenting information the way that he does, I actually don't know if he would have walked it back. I actually wonder if he would have just said, we know that this is fact. But that being said, let's be charitable. He says, okay, we think we know. How do we think we know? Because there's been 2 or 3 cohort studies published, observational research published, suggesting that there's a high risk of fracture, particularly in women. This has not been seen in men. Also, actually, to point out, again, not a 50-year RCT. So he doesn't have that threshold here, at least to say that he thinks he knows something.
2 levels of certainty there. It's like knowing something absolutely or thinking we know, right? Yeah. And we obviously want him to be on the more like thinking we know side of that coin, not absolutely. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and then he's saying, am I going to be responsible if someone goes vegan and ends up for bone health or whatever? Or he says, do I tell people to get BMD scans every 5 years? Well, actually, once they're of age, that's in the guidelines to have bone mineral density scans regularly, regardless of dietary pattern. Now, there are certain risk factors that lead someone to getting scans earlier on, and that's obviously a discussion that would be had with a doctor kind of one-on-one, and you can sort out if you qualify. But also, I do actually talk about a lot. I've made several posts, 3, maybe 4 posts on factors that are related to bone health, why this is actually important for vegans to consider, and how to mitigate those risks. So adequate vitamin D, calcium, maintaining a healthy weight, as the fracture risk in the Epic Oxford study in particular seems to largely be driven by a lower body weight because of the adjustments were inadequate there. So I actually do highlight the importance of this a lot.
All right. I think tomorrow we'll react to Cosmic Skeptic interviewing Sam Harris. But I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired. But hope you guys had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated in Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. Sweet dreams, and I should see you all tomorrow night.